our comparatively sophisticated financial system that I just spoke to you all about.
The second deputy governor is also pushing for open banking and stronger data sharing frameworks, arguing that digital finance must ultimately translate into more affordable and accessible credit for businesses.
That disconnect between transaction data and credit access, in my view, is the single largest unrealized opportunity in this room.
Ghana is actively targeting to sign 5 new petroleum exploration agreements spanning 2026 and 2027 to reverse a multi-year production slump. According to the Petroleum Commission, this is key to securing Ghana's place as an oil producer and participation in the global upstream space.
Ghana commenced commercial oil production at the Jubilee fields in December 2010, transitioning Ghana into a notable petroleum producing nation. Ghana produced an average of about 102,199 barrels of crude oil per day across its major fields, Jubilee, 10, and Sankofa Ginyame over the course of 2025. This follows a continuing multi-year decline from earlier production highs near 170,000 to 180,000 barrels per day. But CEO of the Petroleum Commission, MF Hardcastle, says the Commission is engaging new partners for exploration.
The Commission, as part of our mandate to promote investment, has attracted interest of reputable E&P companies who are currently lined up to sign petroleum agreements in the coming months, once our proposed legislation and fiscal reforms receive parliamentary approval. It is anticipated, and with the support of our minister, that at least 5 new petroleum agreements will be signed between this year and next year. We are particularly excited to also announce that the frontier offshore Appiah Basin will now be occupied for exploration by some major oil companies.
Speaking at the launch of the 15th year commemoration of the Commission, Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Dr. John Abdullahi Jinapor, charged the Commission to secure Ghana's position on the global oil production market.
We'll be pragmatic and we'll be guided by our national circumstances. We will not abandon resources that can support our development. Neither would we ignore the fundamental changes taking place in the global energy landscape. We will therefore maximize our petroleum resources whilst promoting renewable energy to complement that. And our main vision is what we call the gas to power era,
with year-long activities including a public lecture.
The city is showing renewed strength against the dollar, with its year-to-date depreciation narrowing significantly to 4.09% from 10.4% at the end of July 2026. Market data indicate that the currency continued its positive run between August 10 and 11, supported by stronger foreign exchange market interventions and support from the Bank of Ghana. Inflows from the extractive sector, offshore investment demand for local bonds, and easing dollar demand have also contributed to the recent gains. Market expectations suggest that the city's improved performance could continue in the coming weeks, supported by the Bank of Ghana's foreign exchange management framework. The latest recovery marks a sharp turnaround from the heavy pressure on the currency during the first half of the year. With that said, we'll now take a look at how the city is faring against major trading currencies and how some of key commodities are also faring on the global markets.
On the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar is selling at 11 cedis, 5 pesos. It gained 5 pesos. The British pound is selling at 14 cedis, 96 pesos. It gained 4 pesos. The euro is selling at 12 cedis, 72 pesos. It lost 3 pesos. However, be guided that these figures could be higher at a forex bureau near you. On On the global commodities market, Brent crude is trading at $91 per barrel. Gold is trading at $4,354.26 per ounce, down by $61.73. Cocoa is trading at $5,919 per ton, down by $150.
What you just heard there was an update from the Forex and commodity markets, ending the business news on Sunrise. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. My name is Christabel Success Trevor. Thanks for listening. The rest of the Sunrise team are on standby. Don't go away.
Thank you very much for joining us here on the 3FM Sunrise. As always, a pleasure and a delight to come your way and serve you breakfast in the best way possible. It's midweek, the 19th day of August 2026. We're live on Kesmi 107.1 FM in Tamale. So are we live on W93.1 FM in Wa. That's where you can catch this broadcast and be a part of the show from wherever it is you're listening to us from in the upper regions, all right? In Accra, we're live on 3FM 92.7, and I guess you know that already. We're streaming live on Facebook, our handle 3FM 927. Same handle as well on YouTube at 3FM 927, where you can leave a message for us and trust that we'll do the reading for you. This show has you at the center of it all. That is why I always announce these numbers to hear from you, because your views, your thoughts, they matter to me and the rest of my colleagues. 053-220-0927. 053-220-0927. That's a WhatsApp number by which you can be a part of the broadcast. And we start off every morning with a quick dose of a message for you, after which we get into the weather. Slight showers already this morning in parts of the capital, and so it will suggest that perhaps it will look like this, or it could get sunny a lot later in the day. You can't get the weather update in a tad. We get into the message of motivation for this morning, and today I've titled it The Strong One, right? Because for every family seems to have one of such individuals. For every friendship group as well, there is that one person everybody calls. The one who knows what to do when something goes wrong. The one who gives advice, lends money, offers a ride, makes a difficult phone call, stays up late, and shows up for pretty much everybody. When others are falling apart, this person somehow remains standing. And because they are so good at carrying things, something interesting begins to happen. People stop asking what they are carrying. Their strength becomes a reputation, and that reputation becomes very difficult for them to escape themselves. A person who has always been the dependable one may eventually feel they no longer have permission to be tired. The one who has always provided the answer may feel embarrassed not to have one. And the one everyone leans on may become so accustomed to holding others up that leaning begins to feel unnatural. And so the automatic answer for them becomes, I'm fine. Not always because everything is fine. Sometimes they say that because explaining where it hurts would require admitting that even the strong one occasionally needs somewhere to sit down. There is truly nothing wrong with independence. A life should not collapse simply because nobody is immediately available to rescue it. But truthfully as well, there's a point at which self-reliance becomes something heavier. When every offer of help is refused, when every difficulty must privately be solved, and when vulnerability begins to feel like failure. The Bible speaks of carrying one another's burdens. That image is worth sitting with for a moment today. A burden shared, and this is for the very strong individuals more often than not, right? A burden shared does not make you who is carrying the burden weak. It simply acknowledges a simple truth, that human beings were never designed to prove their strength by becoming inaccessible. The strongest person in the room may still need encouragement. The one who always checks on everyone else may need someone to check on them too. And sometimes a person who says, I've got it, I'm fine, is carrying some weight that they will need some rescuing from. There's a kind of courage in being able to stand alone. But there is another kind in allowing someone trustworthy to stand beside you. Strength should not become a place where help is no longer allowed to enter. And so this morning, if you're the strong one, know that you don't have to carry that burden alone. And if you have that one strong individual from amongst the group, amongst the family, know that they too require a shoulder to lean on from time to time. And that is our message this morning for you here on the show. Let me get you into the weather right now because thunderstorms or rain from varying intensity are expected to continue. So they've been on since the night over parts of the northern and transition sectors this morning into the afternoon. Across southern Ghana, mostly cloudy weather will dominate, with few areas likely to experience slight to moderate rain, where some parts of the capital already are experiencing that. Mist and fog patches will form and reduce visibility over the coast, forests and hilly areas in the early hours of the morning as well. And it's relatively expected to be cool at night and early in the mornings as well. Temperatures will drop slightly as well. The state of the sea today is expected to be rough, and so be on the lookout for that as well. With the weather out of the way, let me officially once again welcome you to the 3FM Sunrise here on 3FM 92.7. I am Mawuena Egbeta. The rest of my colleagues, Codjoe, Helen, Appiah, Ampofo, Patrice, Amegashie is on a journey today. Do I call it a working visit to the Gomoa constituency, the Gomoa Central constituency, and so will not be a part of us this morning. He will return tomorrow with a bit of sights and sounds, right, from the Gomoa Central constituency, and then we'll get into a bit more for you from there, right? But Fred Okunzo Tiani on production, Lord Amwabeng on the socials, DJ Phil on the ones and twos. We get into some great songs of inspiration right now, after which we return with the newspapers for you.
The Electoral Commission has reiterated its commitment to organizing free and fair elections this December.
How's your week treating you? I'm here to serve you great music tidbits for your at-work listening pleasure.
Rastafari, Rastafari, Rastafari. Our Father, who art in Zion, Kanamawe, Kanamawe, Kanamawe. Oh, turn it up!
Come into the mountains, sight and I grandfather.
It's time to drive you home in style with great music, the 411 and all your favorite songs, what's happening around town, and so much more.
And in the headlines today, the two leading political parties have been addressing the public on allegations of corruption. The Black Stars coach has unveiled his squad for the upcoming games, and there are some interesting names.
Pull up! The weekend is here and it's time to turn up. Get your dancing shoes on, Lego.
We really do have it all. It's a premium mix of information and entertainment every single day on 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio.
The Electoral Commission has reiterated its commitment to organizing free and fair elections this December.
How's your week treating you? I'm here to serve you great music tidbits for your at-work listening pleasure.
Rastafari, Rastafari, Rastafari. Our Father, who art in Zion, Kanamawe, Kanamawe, Kanamawe. Oh, turn it up!
Come into the mountains, sight and I grandfather.
It's time to drive you home in style with great music, the 411 and all your favorite songs, what's happening around town, and so much more.
And in the headlines today, the two leading political parties have been addressing the public on allegations of corruption. The Black Stars coach has unveiled his squad for the upcoming games, and there are some interesting names.
Pull up! The weekend is here and it's time to turn up. Get your dancing shoes on, Lego.
We really do have it all. It's a premium mix of information and entertainment every single day on 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio.
Alright, so my name Black Rasta, and of course, the voice of the patriot, where we speak truth to power. Remember, here we don't criticize, but if we must, on only one condition, to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we have taken sides. We are not neutral. We are on the side of the truth, the headquarters of the truth. Subscribe and make sure you hit on the like button. And we would always be knocking on your door so you will feel the truth. Like fire! More fire! My name Black Rasta. Alright, so my name Black Rasta, and of course, the voice of the patriot, where we speak truth to power. Remember, here we don't criticize, but if we must, on only one condition, to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we have taken sides. We are not neutral. We are on the side of the truth, the headquarters of the truth. Subscribe and make sure you hit on the like button. And we would always be knocking on your door so you will feel the truth. Like fire! More fire! My name Black Rasta. Alright, so my name Black Rasta, and of course, the voice of the patriot, where we speak truth to power. Remember, here we don't criticize, but if we must, on only one condition, to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we have taken sides. We are not neutral. We are on the side of the truth, the headquarters of the truth. Subscribe and make sure you hit on the like button. And we would always be knocking on your door so you will feel the truth. Like fire! More fire! My name Black Rasta. Alright, so my name Black Rasta, and of course, the voice of the patriot, where we speak truth to power. Remember, here we don't criticize, but if we must, and only one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we have taken sides. We are not neutral. We are on the side of the truth, the headquarters of the truth. Subscribe and make sure you hit on the like button, and we would always be knocking on your door so you will feel the truth like fire. More fire. My name Black Rasta. Alright, so my name Black Rasta, and of course, the voice of the patriot, where we speak truth to power. Remember, here we don't criticize, but if we must, on only one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we have taken sides. We are not neutral. We are on the side of the truth, the headquarters of the truth. Subscribe and make sure you hit on the like button, and we would always be knocking on your door so you will feel the truth like fire. More fire. My name Black Rasta. Alright, so my name Black Rasta, and of course, the voice of the patriot, where we speak truth to power. Remember, here we don't criticize, but if we must, on only one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we have taken sides. We are not neutral. We are on the side of the truth, the headquarters of the truth. Subscribe and make sure you hit on the like button, and we would always be knocking on your door so you will feel the truth like fire. More fire. My name Black Rasta. Alright, so my name Black Rasta, and of course, the voice of the patriot, where we speak truth to power. Remember, here we don't criticize, but if we must, on only one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we have taken sides. We are not neutral. We are on the side of the truth, the headquarters of the truth. Subscribe and make sure you hit on the like button, and we would always be knocking on your door so you will feel the truth like fire. More fire. My name Black Rasta. Alright, so my name Black Rasta, and of course, the voice of the patriot, where we speak truth to power. Remember, here we don't criticize, but if we must, on only one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we have taken sides. We are not neutral. We are on the side of the truth, the headquarters of the truth. Subscribe and make sure you hit on the like button, and we would always be knocking on your door so you will feel the truth like fire. More fire. My name Black Rasta. Alright, so my name Black Rasta, and of course, the voice of the patriot, where we speak truth to power. Remember, here we don't criticize, but if we must, on only one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we have taken sides. We are not neutral. We are on the side of the truth, the headquarters of the truth. Subscribe and make sure you hit on the like button, and we would always be knocking on your door so you will feel the truth like fire. More fire. My name Black Rasta. Alright, so my name Black Rasta, and of course, the voice of the patriot, where we speak truth to power. Remember, here we don't criticize, but if we must, on only one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we have taken sides. We are not neutral. We are on the side of the truth, the headquarters of the truth. Subscribe and make sure you hit on the like button, and we would always be knocking on your door so you will feel the truth like fire. More fire. My name Black Rasta. Alright, so my name Black Rasta, and of course, the voice of the patriot, where we speak truth to power. Remember, here we don't criticize, but if we must, on only one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we have taken sides. We are not neutral. We are on the side of the truth, the headquarters of the truth. Subscribe and make sure you hit on the like button, and we would always be knocking on your door so you will feel the truth like fire. More fire. My name Black Rasta. Alright, so my name Black Rasta, and of course, the voice of the patriot, where we speak truth to power. Remember, here we don't criticize, but if we must, on only one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we have taken sides. We are not neutral. We are on the side of the truth, the headquarters of the truth. Subscribe and make sure you hit on the like button, and we would always be knocking on your door so you will feel the truth like fire. More fire. My name Black Rasta. Alright, so my name Black Rasta, and of course, the voice of the patriot, where we speak truth to power. Remember, here we don't criticize, but if we must, on only one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we say we have taken sides. We are not neutral. We are on the side of the truth, the headquarters of the truth. Subscribe and make sure you hit on the like button, and we would always be knocking on your door so you will feel the truth like fire. More fire. My name Black Rasta. Alright, so my name Black Rasta, and of course, the voice of the patriot, where we speak truth to power. Remember, here we don't criticize, but
of the show, we're getting into the review for you right now here on the show. A number of the papers already here. Not the full complement, but let's start off for you this morning. And Daily Post this morning leads with a big banner story. Gold must transform mining communities. Gold Board CEO declares. I was speaking at the mining dialogue organized yesterday. Also, Gold Board did not record 22 billion cedis loss. Audited accounts show 5.44 billion surplus. Institute of Fiscal Policy Governance saying this. Police, Medina Assembly Task Force arrest woman for alleged sale of unapproved fruit ripening chemicals. Was she arrested or she was cautioned? I think yesterday we were getting details from the Food and Drugs Authority. It wasn't necessarily an arrest. It was more of an education. And the FDA also telling us that, look, they are amongst many other things seeking to educate these market women on these dangers amongst many other things. The Daily Gist newspaper this morning as well. Big banner story. Minority takes on Sami Jemfi over Gold Board 22 billion cedi mess. Musa Dankwa grabs contracts from government. Kokofu smoke peace pipe after NPP Ashanti election. Deputy AG defends Yoko probe of AXA bribery scandal. Young cocoa farmers petition Mahama over 2026-2027 season uncertainty. Edu Boahen 49 million cedis trial. Lawyer slams side for misrepresenting evidence. And Bawumia leads all tested NDC rivals in new APL 2028 election poll. APL is not Adisa production, it's Africa Policy Lens. That's APO. Back page doesn't have a story. I think it has a GJ 77th anniversary commemoration. The Publisher newspaper this morning, it stinks. IMF report reveals 22 billion cedis gold board loss, and we'll get into that detail this morning, right? Because as much as everything is being said, is it really the case that the 22 billion cedis loss is a gold board loss? It's highly contested, right? It's highly contested because the evidence doesn't suggest so. At least from that IMF report, which we've been speaking to, and let's call a spade, right? Our job here, as many things, is to provide a bit more in terms of details as to some of these claims, and we'll get into that for you here on the show because it's not accurate that the 22 billion cedis is attributed to the activities of Gold Board. Also, Paul puts Bawumia ahead of NDC rivals. Man drowns while helping travelers cross Ghana-Togo River. As details on the Publisher, we'll get you into all of the details shortly. The News Center newspaper this morning. BOG Gold Board must explain 22 billion cedis loss. Minority. This I think it's a fair capturing of what has been or what is a sentiment in terms of questions being asked. Also, own more, retain more. Sami Jemfi outlines new vision for ownership, value addition and transformation of mining communities. The back page of the News Center. Mobile Money Fintech Limited opens Momo Fintech Lab applications, and Gold Board raises gold purity testing standards. The Custodian newspaper, Bawumia tops all NDC rivals. APL survey reviews ahead of 2028 election. Gold Board must explain 1.7 billion cedi loss in 2025. Minority questions gold trading losses, discounted sales. OT region, NPP new executive slams government over abandoned project. Over 50 NPP chairpersons. Others pick forms for Ejako. Looks like he's the man to beat in that chairmanship race. Ex-BOG Governor Addison grabs Harvard job. OT region MPP new executive slams government. Okay, that story is here. I'm just going to do the Publisher or the Republic Press, right? The Republic Press, and then I'll take you online quickly as well. Gold Board under pressure as minority demands answers over $1.7 billion loss. AXA probe. AG snaps OSP again. Hands investigation to Yoko. GJA holds symposium today to mark 77th anniversary. GES denies cancellation of free SHS, warns against 1,500 chop box payment. Gas expansion cuts Ghana's fuel bill by $500 million annually. So according to the Energy Minister, Dr. John Jinapo, Constitution guarantees speedy trials for all cases, not selected ones. Kwemka tells Deputy AG. Not all of the papers, but I'll take you online right now. And specials of good mornings to Helen, Appiah, and Ampofo this morning as well.
Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, I'm fantastic this morning.
Good. It's good to hear.
Yourself?
Doing excellent. Today I didn't leave my cup of coffee behind, so I'm ready to go.
We're fit.
Oh,
for
fit,
the task.
ready, irate. Looking to also understand what is going on with this gold board saga. Yesterday, I was listening to you speaking with analyst Alfred.
Yeah.
And I still couldn't make heads or tail.
Okay, so I'll explain.
But we'll be getting into it today so that, the ordinary citizen, like myself, can also follow along in this saga. A lot of you had a lot to say about some of what Minority Leader Afenyo Markin had to say, in particular about what awaits the gold board in the future. Very interesting.
I think that part, right? Okay, we'll get the sounds.
That's
and
right.
Then we'll in your favorite word, we'll sink our teeth into it,
Absolutely.
right? But let me take us online quickly. Government pays 10.8 billion cedis DDEP coupon in full, pushing total settlements to 41.36 billion. Also here, Tupac murder trial. Combative witness refuses to break street code on stand. Police, Medina Assembly Task Force arrest woman for alleged sale of unapproved fruit ripening chemicals. Is this different from what the FDA was telling us? Because I see one of the papers also had the detail. It's the same thing, but yesterday when we spoke to the FDA, the woman was not arrested. I think they went to her. She pointed them to, because someone is selling the ripening materials at the market, and if you see the video, they were the ones advocating against it. So I'm interested in who was arrested. Okay, the one selling is the one who was picked up. Okay, interesting. So that story is on 3news.com as well. Upper East Region Police seized 500 cartons of tramadol in intelligence-led operation at Widana, and one Burkinabe arrested. 500 cartons of tramadol. How is the thing with Dana?
How much do you have it? How many pieces per box, I wonder?
I don't even know.
Countable and
Yeah,
printable.
but for a lot of the documentaries and all of that, tramadol is medication. I mean, it's not something you should be getting over the counter.
It's going to be prescribed.
Prescribed, right? Prescribed. That's the word also. I almost said recommended. Prescribed. It has to be prescribed for you. So, in intense Spain, you can be prescribed that to use, but someone bringing in 500 cartons and it's swiveling and going around in circles in nooks and crannies.
Because we haven't spoken about this issue in a while, I'd forgotten that this was another issue that we have to contend with, the abuse of drugs. Was it yourself, Mawuena, that was telling us that you've got a pharmacist friend who says that,
yes.
I mean, as for the cough syrups, people are still coming in.
It was mentioned someone with Letalin or something, 5
God.
cities. It makes them feel drowsy. She was telling me that, in fact, I think it was on the back of that youth forum, which was held in Kumasi, where it was revealed that some 80-something thousand plus were using drugs and all of that. And so I shared the news card on my status, and she came and she was like,
this
number
grossly
is
underestimated.
It's underestimated because she is at the pharmacy.
Right.
She's at the pharmacy. The amount of, the drug abuse, we just look at, okay, perhaps hard substance like heroin and all of those. Those who are coming for specific tablets, specific cough syrups to pretty much perform the same job of the heroin and all of that, you don't count them as part of the numbers, right?
Those abusing the pain medication,
Exactly.
and all of that.
Exactly. But I see that Armstrong was at the Medina market yesterday with the woman who was picked up in relation to in all of that. I want us to get that report right, but let me finish the news review on the online portals. Let's go to myjoyonline.com right now, right? myjoyonline.com, they lead with conversations around the gold board, right? So gold board had design defects that could have been avoided. Professor Bokpin is saying this. Government pays 10.8 billion DDEP coupon in full and on schedule. Also, don't credit gold board for Ghana's macroeconomic stability. GCAA owes GMET over 50 million in statutory payments. Goldboard has plugged gold smuggling league and crowded in FX. There's a lot of stories in relation to the gold board here. Gold board losses. Why act like Ghana has never lost money on gold? Mantia was asking. I'll take you to City Newsroom quickly. That DDEP payment by the finance minister is top on the agenda as well here. Government pays 10.8 billion cedis DDEP coupon to bondholders in full. Petroleum Commission saves Ghana $2 billion and covers $229 million oil cost infractions. Gold board's 1.7 million losses are transaction costs, not failure. Unemployed graduates with disabilities to picket at Jubilee House today. 3-month-old baby found abandoned in Bush at Ada. EY Ghana CSE resolve licensing issues after fine. Ghana Web, right? If I get poison, I will drink it and die. 68-year-old woman wrongfully jailed for 15 years breaks down. It's a sad story. Delivery driver busted with cocaine at airport as NACOC chases drug syndicate boss. A bit like NACOC, they are working pound.
They are on job.
Yeah, because the number of busts in relation to cocaine and all of that we continue to pick up roughly under the last 18 months. I always ask the question, is it the case that the people are becoming more confident, or it is NACOC who is doing a very good job? Because we are hearing from on the road, at the airport, here, they are busting, catching people, doing a lot of things.
Do they tell us what the street value of this latest bust is?
Perhaps if we get into the story, right? Let me see if we get into the story, we'll get a quick sense of what the street value is. No, there's no mention of street value. It's just in relation to a report and some other matters in relation to it. Still here on Ghana Web, Wuntumi's trial to continue as 12 million cedi settlement offer falls short. Deputy AG Baumia leads all potential NDC contenders in new nationwide poll and go to East Legon and control prices there. Can USC hostel owners hits back at government? Say you shouldn't. The money they are charging for the hostels.
I mean,
10,000 and the likes. Right. We'll engage them a lot later this morning as well, because I think the Rent Control Commissioner has been visiting some hostels at Sunyane Technical. Let's call a speed a speed.
What as in the settings, the actual...
It's terrible.
It's intensifying.
And they are charging some very exorbitant fees for it. Frederick will get the videos because I've been sharing a number of the videos with him as well. But let's start off with the Medina market and then we'll do gold board. Because as for the gold board, like you said, there's a lot of confusion, and so we'll seek to break that down a bit.
On Wednesday, August 12th.
Market with the Lankwantanan guys, where they said there was an arrest. Let's get the full details of the report and then we'll return to get into a bit more in terms of the details.
On Wednesday, August 12th, the Medina Lankwantana Municipal Assembly engaged traders at the Medina market as part of efforts to identify and address their concerns. During the engagement, some traders raised health concerns over the alleged use of unapproved substances by some traders to ripen farm produce. Following the concerns, the Assembly's Environmental Health Unit, with support from the Medina Police, stormed the market on Tuesday, August 17. One woman, whose name is being withheld, was identified as allegedly being involved in the sale of the unapproved substances.
When was the last time I was Shebi?
What's that? Yes, Shebi no. Oh. Sir, if you die, you see, I now almost will be a mechanic here. No, and no more car. If you are, you must.
I don't know.
I don't know. What's that? Oh, Sophie will be on your beam.
I don't inside.
I know what Kohakoto.
I went inside.
A biwa, aha. Mamma, blah, blah, blah. One back a steady.
Earlier, we spoke with the woman who allegedly is involved in selling of these chemical in ripening plantain, and she denied but a search by the Ghana Police Service from the Madina police station has seen these chemicals. So far, 4 of them have been picked up by the Ghana Police, and they are still conducting more search to see if they can get more of these chemicals within.
We are doing this exercise collaboration with the FDA. So they joined us last last Thursday. We came here, disguised ourselves. We bought some of the chemicals. They've taken some. They have some of the plantain that they are doing the distance. I believe they have even given a statement. So I think we'll leave it for FDA.
But you mean they've taken samples already?
Yes, please.
The woman was subsequently taken away by the police for further questioning and investigations. Some traders who spoke to us said the use of such substances is not limited to the Madina market. They are therefore calling on the Assembly and the Food and Drugs Authority to intensify monitoring and take proactive measures to prevent the practice. The trader who first raised the alarm over the use of the substance spoke with the news team.
You shouldn't sit I can't say in office alone. You should go to the farm. If you really care about agriculture, someone in the market now put fear and panic in us.
You see this with fear and panic?
Yes, because you are coming with policewoman. But
you were not picked up. It was only one person that they identified and they picked up.
I wasn't picked up, but a woman in the way it means also woman who are asheno. There are more questions. No chance. Does
she sell the chemicals?
She was panicking.
Does she sell the chemicals you're talking about? Does she sell?
That one I don't know.
You are here with it. You sell plantain yourself.
I don't. I sell plantain.
What do you use in ripening your plantain?
I use condo.
The municipal chief executive of the Madina Lankwantena Municipal Assembly, Ibrahim Faila, says the assembly will undertake a major search of the market.
I have even also directed our environmental units. They should take immediate action and arrest the persons involved in this particular action. We are going to make sure that all of them, wherever they are selling this chemical within Lankwantena Madina Municipal Assembly, the person will be arrested. In fact, it's going to be cancelled in Madina.
Faila has also called for calm among traders, urging them to avoid actions that could create fear and panic among the public. The Food and Drug Authority has also issued a statement assuring the public that measures are being taken to address the situation.
So pretty much looks like there's some action being taken, right? Some action being taken in being able to deal with the situation to the best of abilities amongst other things in relation to this matter. Yesterday we spoke to the FD, tried to understand and appreciate what is happening in dealing with ripening. And we have one of the women say she ripens hers with condo. What I genuinely ask is, why are you in a hurry to ripen something which will get ripe by itself?
I guess they want to meet a certain demand as quickly as possible, so that if they've got a big batch of unripened plantain and they know that patrons are coming for the ripe one, then they don't miss out on that market. So they're in a haste to quickly meet that demand. That's the only thing that I can think of, because like you said, you buy, you take it home. Sometimes if you're not even careful, you don't use it quickly enough, and then it gets overripe and then it gets spoiled. But I guess for them, they want to be able to sell it on demand as the purchasers want it. So you can only imagine what other types of chemicals or interventions are being used on other kinds of foods. What are the implications of using these kinds of chemicals? We don't know as yet. Is it safe? Is it not? Well,
all of that and more, perhaps. But let's get into the gold board conversations right now, because it's been topical. It's on a number of the newspapers as well. I think we can start off with what the claim of the minority is. Let's hear the minority leader, because he addressed that news conference yesterday in all of its entirety, and then I will come to this aspect in terms of where the numbers points to and what it says in relation to if you can attribute the 1.7 billion loss all the way to just the minority in parliament. Here's the minority leader, Osahi Alexander Apenyo-Markin, addressing that news conference yesterday.
By the fund's own numbers, the Bank of Ghana's equity stood at negative 93.8 billion cedis at the end of last year, negative 6.7% of GDP. Our central bank is technically bankrupt, therefore. And the single biggest driver of that collapse in the 2025 was gold operations, Gold Board. Gold Board's own domain, 22 billion cedis. That's equivalent of the 1.7 billion US dollars in 1 year alone. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, let's call it what it is. These losses are not bad luck. You don't trade in gold and make losses. They are not a difficult market. They expose the crass incompetence of Gold Board's management and misaligned policy of the government. No serious institution loses this much money by accident. This is what happens when an untouchable few are handed the nation's gold with no one watching and no one willing to ask questions. Gold Board must tell Ghanaians the following. 1. What prices were paid for gold? How were those prices determined? What premiums, if any, were paid to secure the supply? How were international off-takers selected? At what discounts were the gold sold? How much was earned by Gold Board in service and asset charges from transactions financed by Bank of Ghana? What commercial risk did Gold Board itself bear? What transactional risk were passed automatically to Bank of Ghana? What internal risk controls existed to protect the financier, the Bank of Ghana? What corrective measures were taken as losses accumulated? And most importantly, if Gold Board controlled critical part of the trading process, but Bank of Ghana absorbed losses, where precisely did commercial accountability reside? Any responsible government confronted with this 22 billion loss should immediately investigate whether the incentive structure encouraged excessive volumes, inadequate pricing discipline, or insufficient attention to trading costs. Majority, please, our motion is ready. We will file it before we get back next week, and we pray that you, the majority in Parliament, will fully cooperate with us, the minority. If government says there's no money to complete the Agenda 111 project, if government is still borrowing, yet it can find 22 billion, and this 22 billion, according to the IMF, is vanished into thin air. Sikana.
So that's the minority leader. Let me hear you first on, where the confusion lies as to what really is happening in relation to Gold Board, and then perhaps we'll get into a bit more of the details.
I think just as our slides depict, that's where the confusion lies. So if you're watching us on Facebook, we're going to get into what the disparity is between what the minority leader is saying and what the Gold Board CEO is also saying vis-a-vis what they say the IMF has told government and what government has also agreed to as far as what the IMF has to say. So I guess, Mawuena, we can get into what the discrepancies are.
And we'll do that. But for starters, I want to tell listeners, right, and those following us on YouTube, this is an IMF report that the minority leader references. I have a copy of it. I'm deliberately showing it actually to the camera so that from everything we will seek to do, we'll seek to speak to this data as well, which is one of the many things that the minority leader relies on in raising the concern. So here's what the IMF report says, that domestic gold purchase program operations have generated significant losses for the Bank of Ghana. That's paragraph 13 on page 10. It reads that losses in 2024 were equivalent to almost $400 million, 0.5% of GDP. In 2024, we lost $500 million in the domestic gold purchase program, 1/3 of which were related to gold for oil. In 2025, the significant scaling up of domestic gold purchase program operations. So the wording is important. It says that in 2025, there was a significant scaling up of the program which existed well before 2025, leading to losses over $1.7 billion, which is 1.5% of GDP, almost entirely related to gold for reserve door purchases. This amounted to a loss of 17% of the value of door gold sold by the BOG. Losses accrued on gold trades are a combination of service and assay fees paid to Gold Board, discount on gold sold off to off-takers, exporters, and most importantly, exchange rate losses from the spread between the Forex Bureau rate paid to purchase gold and the city reference rate used for BOG accounting. Now, if you read this report, and I see you've made your face somewhere, when you read this report, what immediately they do in this report is they tell you what accounts for the losses which we saw, the 1.7 billion losses, which amounts to 22 billion. And by way of a bit more, nobody is sitting here and justifying that 22 billion city loss is okay. The question we're seeking to answer is whether you should attribute the 22 billion cedis in loss to Gold Board, which is what the minority leader suggested from that press conference yesterday. Right. And you referenced the interview and the interaction with Alfred. There was an important aspect of that conversation which I asked him. It was pretty much the second question I asked, that, look, we've gone past the losses. How do we ensure we are not back at points like this? And some of the things which were said by Professor Godfred Bokpin on another platform is very important as well. But even reading from this document, it spreads the areas for the losses. It says that the losses accrued on gold trades are a combination of service and assay fees paid to Gold Board. So they say the losses, you can point to service and assay fees because Gold Board was an agent of the Bank of Ghana. And so the Bank of Ghana paid agent fees to Gold Board, which is a state institution, for doing the purchases of gold on its behalf. Agent fees and assaying fees, assaying of the gold. That was part of the cost build-up or the loss build-up, not the cost build-up. So perhaps I'll rephrase my word. If you take the 22 billion cedis, a part of it was paid to Gold Board for service and assay fees. The other part was on discount on gold sold to off-takers. So when we are selling the gold to persons who are taking it off us after we've bought it, we gave them discount. And that discount, obviously, if I buy something for 10 cedis, and I'm saying, oh, I'm giving you a 20% discount. That's just a rough example. I'm not saying that's what the Bank of Ghana did. It means automatically I'm making a loss because I'm not selling to recover at least my capital. If I bought it for 10 cedis and I say I am selling at a 10% discount, it means I'm selling for 9 cedis.
That's right.
And so immediately I've made a 1 cedi loss already. That as well is a part of the loss build-up for that 22 billion cedis. Then there is, they say most importantly, exchange rate losses from the spread between the Forex Bureau rates paid to purchase gold and the cedi reference rate used for BOG accounting. So for how much it's used to buy the gold from the persons who are bringing it, we use market rates, not BOG rates to buy. And if you go on to Google even, and you're looking for rates in terms of currency, you realize that interbank rates or Forex Bureau rates are different from what the BOG rates are in terms of Forex. So if you're seeing BOG 1090, Forex you see 1180 or something. There is almost a 1 cedi difference.
Which is definitely significant once you start to add up the figures.
Absolutely. And so that also accounts for what was the loss. And so from the reference of the document which says that 22 billion or $1.7 billion equivalent in losses from domestic gold purchase program, it breaks down where the loss went.
So to summarize, we're told it's the combination of service and assay fees, also discounts to off-takers, and finally exchange rate losses, which would then lead the average person to ask, how then do you situate gold board entirely, or how then do you attribute the loss entirely to the gold board?
Well, the gold board was the agent of the Bank of Ghana.
But in terms of the exchange rate losses, for example, how do you hang that around the neck of the gold board?
Pretty much, right? Pretty much the conversation which is being had, and today the CEO of Gold Board, Sami Jemfi, will take his turn at the Government Accountability Series, pretty much in a response to that news conference. Now, Fred, roll up the slides for me. Let's go through the details as well from the which we're seeking to provide a bit more in terms of details. So,
in fact, let's role play. You can be a Fenyo Marking. I'll be Sami James. Yes.
So to our viewers, you can go on to Facebook, and there's a slide in seeking to provide a bit more in terms of an understanding and context as to what is playing out on this particular story. So on this one, like Helen says, cosplay of Fenyo Marking, Gold Board and the gold program made losses of up to 22 billion cedis, an equivalent of a $1.7 billion loss.
Well, Sami Jemfi says Gold Board's audited books show a surplus of some 5.44 billion Ghana cedis. One says there's a loss, the other says there's a gain.
So the question is, who is right? And I've already begun with providing a bit in terms of what the numbers say. Fred, do us that. So Gold Board says, or if you take their audited account, what their books say, there was a 5.44 billion cedis in terms of overall surplus for 2025. That's what their books say. That's not in doubt. That's not in question, right? Because those are audited accounts of the institution. Now, of that amount, we see that their total revenue as at end date 2025 was 5.554 billion Ghana cedis. But they made expenses as well in that regard, which accounted for some 109 million cedis. And so if you take that out, then you're looking at a surplus of 5.44 for pretty much a billion cedis. Now, of that amount, I'm going to take listeners and viewers, because there are persons who are following on Facebook and on YouTube as well. I'm going to take their attention to the 2025 budget as was read by the Finance Minister on the 11th of March 2025. Now, if you read that budget, in terms of allocations which were being made by government, there was some $279 million allocated to the Gold Board to allow for the purchase and sale of gold. Now, yesterday we worked the math together, myself and Wisdom, who's with our research desk. At that time, the prevailing exchange rate was going to give you a cedi equivalent of some 4.54 billion cedis in terms of government subvention. That was what was given to Gold Board for them to do the work that they are supposed to do in terms of gold purchases and all of that. So we set up Gold Board. This is the startup money we are giving to them to do this work. That was captured in the 2025 budget. And that as well is a significant part of the surplus which they have from their 2025 fiscals. Some people have asked the question, hey, up to 4.5 billion cedis in government subvention, why did the government do that and all of that? All you have to do is go back to the 2025 budget, which was read by the finance minister on the 11th of March. In fact, he quoted the figure in dollars. And so a lot of people, your attention will not go when they say, $279 million. For some very strange reason, we don't respect the US dollar in this part. So someone can sit on Twitter and comfortably say there's $1 million at the Makola market, which you can find every day. $279 million, which was quoted at that time, was 4.5 billion cedis. And that was what was allocated to Gold Board. And that is what is a part of the government subvention and contributing to the headline surplus from there. Right? But of that, their core operations generated some 909 million cedis. If you subtract the surplus, excluding subvention from government and all of that, you're seeing a roughly 900 million cedis in terms of profit that they've made from the work that they did. Gold purchase and the service and agent fees they were receiving from the BOG, having done that work for them.
Right.
Right.
But of course, once you take that subvention, and again, subvention is the financial help, simply put, or funding from government.
From government.
You are left with 896.29 million.
Which is profits that they made on the operations for 2025.
Okay.
And so at least from the audited account, nothing shows that there is a loss from the books, right?
So again, to reiterate, even after taking out that subvention, again,
Yes.
For clarity, that government help, government funding, you still have what appears to be a hefty looking balance sheet, 896.29 million Ghana cedis. Okay.
So next one. Now let's go to the losses from the domestic gold purchase program now, because we know that, and here's where there's a problem. For every time the losses have come up, they are captured in IMF reports pretty much, right? So we don't get to hear about it until maybe the IMF in its document mentions 1.7, this, that, and then you're seeing that, okay, there was a loss in this regard. And so that is why genuinely I think a lot more work can be done. We shouldn't be, as citizens, we shouldn't be like, you're making loss from an external. Yes, the IMF are pretty much, we are under a PCI, a post-credit program with them. And so they continue to be present and here in looking at the work that is being done in relation to the handling of the economy, amongst many other things. But the first time we heard of the loss was in an IMF report around the third quarter of last year, where they mentioned that, look, $214 million in losses had been made. By the end of the year, the full year report, that loss had jumped from 214 million to 1.7 billion, which is what pretty much raised the concern, because that's constitutes about 1.5% of all of the goods and services we will produce as a country. And this is where the concern is. And mind you, nobody suggests that making 1.7 billion cedis in losses is not on the face value worrying.
Indeed.
It is.
Regardless of what the breakdown is, even if you want to talk about the exchange rate losses, that is worth interrogating, because, again, that also contributes to this loss, and we don't want to be making losses.
Absolutely. Right? The aim is to reduce the losses to the bearers of minimums, right? Or possibly not make losses, because we are people who do not have a lot of money. Agenda 111 hospitals were not completing. We're looking for more monies to finish road projects and what have you. And so making losses like that, when I've heard people say, "Oh, this money could have gone into building hospitals and all of that."
I mean, Appiah Markin himself, he
made as to whether or not that directly, as to whether or not these are directly monies you can take and go and build hospitals because of the work being done, because these are losses resting on the books of the BOG. It's not like money that is with governments that you are supposed to use to do something. So those are conversations and arguments that you can get into and we can decipher properly. Nobody is interested in seeing the BOG make losses of up to 1.7 billion cedis and hanging on its books. Fred, on to the next slide for me. So what is the loss about? And I've pretty much explained that in part of the report we're reading from the IMF proper. So the BOG in itself is the one which runs the domestic gold purchase program. Now, that program is supposed to build up reserve and improve on the country's position in terms of its import cover. In fact, on the back of that, we are doing an accelerated program. There's one called GANRAP, where we are seeking to build up to 15 months of import cover, right? And there are persons who are asking questions as to whether building up to 15 months of import cover for a country which is still not meeting a lot of its developmental needs is the most important of things to do. We can have that debate, but the government is... Now, the domestic gold program was being run by the Bank of Ghana. Now, of that program, the Gold Board is an agent of the Bank of Ghana in helping it achieve its target in this program. So it is not a Gold Board run program, which is using the Bank of Ghana as like my personal bank to run a program. It is a BOG program because it was being run in 2024 as well, right? And so that is what the situation is. The BOG is just the one running it, and then the Gold Board is the agent of the BOG. Let's proceed into what contributed to the losses. And I was going through this earlier. The exchange rate differential was the biggest reason why we saw that 22 billion cedis loss. Exchange rate. So the concern should be, after we deal with who made the losses, who didn't do what, is how do we reduce exchange rate differential? Because we are still doing a gold reserve accumulation program.
Right.
We are currently doing it. We are in the third, we're in the third quarter, right?
Indeed. What month are we in?
We're in August, so we're in the third quarter. We're still doing a gold accumulation program. So how are we reducing the exchange rates differential? It's a legitimate question anybody should be asking. But from 2025, exchange rates, from how much you are providing in buying the gold, and then the rates you use when you are buying, and then the rates which you use when you're taking it back in, is what contributed massively to the loss, at least from what we are seeing from the reports from the IMF and as well the Bank of Ghana's own books. Then there was a service and assay fees which went to Gold Board. So you see, of the four elements, service and assay fees is what is what Gold Board directly from the IMF documents went to them. Then there was off-taker discounts, which how much you are giving a discount to the person who's taking the gold off. Then other program cost and valuation effect that didn't contribute significantly in fairness, but it was also part of what contributed to the loss, right? And that's what all sums up to the domestic gold purchase program loss, which we saw, that 22 billion cedis, which we saw in 2025. Let's get a bit more into what it meant for Gold Board's books, right? So they received as much as 558.145 million cedis from the Bank of Ghana for service charges as their like fees as
an agent,
as the work that they are doing. They receive 558 million.
It's not cheap.
It's
not cheap to use the services of Gold Board. They were giving discounts on gold. How much discount did they give government, and how much discount did they give the Bank of Ghana?
Legitimate questions you can ask. Then on our say fees, 337 million.
Amana, for those of us who are uninitiated, say, tell us more.
So, when I'll have to get a bit more in that aspect, but the gold is picked up in raw form. There's a saying we are seeking to refine the gold as well here locally. We've seen the Gold Board doing some work with local refineries and all of that. That contributes in that aspect to what a saying will be, right?
Okay.
So that fee as well comes to around 337 million. That put together is pretty much what the Gold Board says that in terms of monies we benefited during the entire gold purchase program, 895 million is what we can point to as monies we got, right? And that equals Gold Board's like pretty much a huge chunk of the profits or revenue they made.
Interestingly, if you're following on this slide, at the bottom it says, this is the accounting bridge linking the Bank of Ghana's costs directly to Gold Board's surplus. So if we're looking at both of these entities as entities to help, boost the economy, make, Ghana's financial books look good, one institute's loss is another institute's gain. Is it giving you nege po? Is it really a loss if you look at it in that broad term?
That one
Bank of Ghana is paying Gold Board fees. They're making some good money, but ultimately, is that not for the good of the country? Looking at it in very simplistic terms, can you say that, well, really, there is no loss if Gold Board is benefiting, and in turn is doing something that is shoring up our numbers anyway, if that makes any sense?
It's a fair argument to make, and some will want to stretch this a bit more in terms of the overall benefit as to the economy. We saw the city perform relatively better. I mean, it was a record performance in a very long time, 2025. It had a trickling down effect in terms of lending rates being reduced, and so by how much you're paying off as interest on your loans, this performance in terms of the trade-off contributed. Inflation, we saw it record lows. We're around 5. We're down to 4 point something again after being in the 5 percentile regions. All of these, right? And so it's one of the questions. It's one of the many arguments that's been made by the government that look, yes, it's a loss, right? There's a significant loss, but look at the numbers in terms of the economy as well. Is that a good trade-off? It's a question that's been asked. Is that a good trade-off?
Right.
It's a question that's been asked by different persons on different committees in terms of having an overview of the Ghanaian economy and contributing to it in terms of conversations, right? So yes, it's a nega poor conversation, or is it a positive trade-off? These are very legitimate questions that can be asked, and that's pretty much what all of this is.
So I think Afenyomarkin captures this final thought that I had about it. And he says, I'm quoting him, a business model where one entity earns fees and another absorbs losses requires scrutiny. So we can insert Gold Board and Bank of Ghana here. He's saying a business model where Gold Board earns fees and Bank of Ghana absorbs losses requires scrutiny. Have I inserted the entities correctly?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please. So that pretty much explains, right, the situation in relation to this.
Because Afenyomarkin then goes on to say that such an arrangement could create a moral hazard where an institution benefited from transaction volumes without bearing the equivalent financial risks. so that the Bank of Ghana is cushioning and absorbing the gold board risks. And he says that deserves further scrutiny and attention.
Absolutely. Now, I'll come back to the aspect of the conversation. Does this provide a bit more in terms of clarity from my conversation yesterday with Alfred? Because there was one question I asked. That's Alfred Appiah, as a data analyst. I suspect he's a PhD candidate somewhere in Canada or something. He's not mentioned that very often, but that's one of my suspicions. And good morning to him, Alfred. By the way, does some great work in relation to it. There are a few questions, a few things which, in the looking ahead, becomes very important. How do we reduce 1.5% of GDP in terms of a hit for trading gold and the wonderful work it did with respect to some of the macroeconomic indicators for the Ghanaian economy going forward? Was the second question I asked. Now, of the many things being done, we know that the cost of the entire reserve accumulation has been taken off the books of the Bank of Ghana and is now sitting on the lap of the Finance Ministry. Now, there was some discount, roughly around 15% or something, which we were given, which also contributes to some of the losses. The government is working to have that reduced to 5%. Of the exchange rates losses, the indication or the understanding we get as well is that they're seeking to work as close to the BOG rates as possible for this financial year, because a repetition of 1.7 billion in terms of losses is not good for anybody, right? And so those are some of the things which is being done. I wish I could play back just briefly some aspect of that interaction with Alfred as to the going forward. I will seek to do that. But there are a number of individuals who are sharing thoughts in relation to this subject matter, both on Facebook and on YouTube, and my personal number as well. I'll read a number of them.
I wish we could get that clip. I know obviously that was yesterday during the your midday segment. So on our YouTube page, you'll be able to get that. We'll get that soundbite.
I'll get that soundbite whilst I read the messages, right? I read the messages from a few persons. Mike Kofi Aflu is the board chair of the Financial Intelligence Center. He sends this one in. It says, Gold Board earns a lot of foreign currency for the Bank of Ghana. Licensed companies of Gold Board have what they call off-takers. These off-takers are foreign partners of these licensed companies in Ghana. These off-takers transfer US dollars directly to Gold Board's account at the Bank of Ghana. Gold Board then, after due diligence clearance by the Financial Intelligence Center, releases the Ghana cedis equivalent of the US dollars received from the off-takers to the Ghanaian licensed company to buy gold for Gold Board. This is what the NPP is not comfortable with. During their tenure, gold worth $40 million was smuggled monthly to the UAE, and the dollars never came back to Ghana but lands in the pockets of private individuals, he says. Then there is another one sent by Sefiamo. Says that the whole cry by Appiah Markin and his mini minority group of a Gold Board allegedly selling gold at a loss looks more like a deliberate attempt to paint Sami Jemfi black, perhaps in revenge for his strict marching of the then NPP administration as NDC communications officer. I heard the minority leader say nobody sells gold at a loss. Fair enough, but how then did the NPP under Bawumia use gold to secure oil while Ghanaians still suffered high fuel prices? Come on, Appiah, don't force corruption onto this government where there is none. If there are genuine concerns, let the facts speak. Good morning, he adds to constituent of Ho West. He adds, I'm going to take us to Facebook now, right? Facebook. And on Facebook, Aaron Bapako Kokomisa sends one in relation to the FDA food ripening. Says, good morning to you. The Food and Drugs Authority cautioned market traders against using illegal chemicals to accelerate plantain ripening is a step in the right direction. Market leaders must be strongly warned against this unhealthy practice, and the government should conduct secret investigations into the matter. Those found guilty ought to be prosecuted to serve as a strong deterrent against strong deterrent. May have missed that message. Must be strong deterrent. Those found guilty ought to be prosecuted to serve as a strong deterrent against others engaging in that activity. Someone is Fifi Benji. We see you, Lawrence Yamua. Let's use very polite language, right? Neron de Bonegro says it is imperative that individuals in positions of high authority are held accountable for their statements to prevent misinformation and ensure accurate fact checking. I'll go on to our WhatsApp console as well. Where a few of you as well have been sharing messages. Good morning, Mawuena. The minority leader and the NPP just made mockery of themselves yesterday. When he was confronted with the fact yesterday during an interview with Omar Sanda, he fled. NPP is a disgrace to themselves. Jones Adoboy in La. This one from Kwame Fire in Sampa Valley says the minority make claims which draws the attention of the ordinary Ghanaian, and in the end of the same submission bring in projects they couldn't finish and make it seem they are the good ones, but forget and you wrote VA, they've channeled huge sums of money into the biggest hole they left for us. They should focus on how to build the country and not looking for a way to look good in the eyes of Ghanaians. We now determine what is right or wrong, he adds. Now I'm going to take us to that interaction, right? That interaction with Alfred Appiah was quite lengthy. Just by way of a bit more in terms of additional detail, right? To provide proper context as to what the way forward is. And so here is Alfred Appiah, is a data analyst, providing a bit more in terms of details as to the way forward on that aspect.
Yeah, completely agree with you. I think that's where we need to be looking for it, because again, the government itself recognizes that this is not sustainable, which is why the 15% of losses on gross purchases, the government is planning to reduce it to 5%, and they've already started with some initiatives early in the year, right? Because so that actually in itself should settle the debate that these losses are not sustainable, right? So right now we know that Gold Board has the control over the full chain. It is doing its own thing. So how does it make progress? How does it make sure that we don't have another 22 billion in losses? That's where the conversation needs to be. And to me, it starts with, they've done well at trying to look at the exchange rate. Right now they say they are not offering any of the bonuses anymore. They are buying at the Bank of Ghana rate, and they seem to be able to still get the volumes. Right? As the Gold Board progresses, I think it will be important that some of the other fees, like the aggregator fees and all of that stuff, are built into the model itself. Because, cocoa, and I know that I know that cocoa and gold are not comparable in terms of the ability to smuggle and things like that, because a small quantity of gold generates a lot of money. But in cocoa, we give the cocoa farmers almost about 30% tax, right? Right, in gold, we are not taxing them anything. We are buying at the world market rate, knowing that even the raw form of the gold does not fetch the world market price. It needs to be refined and go through processes. So I think as the Gold Board matures, that's where the thing will be. Absolutely. But on the broader point of the economy and its dependence on gold, I think that's a critical point, right? So we have, if you look at our exports, 63% of our export is tied to gold, right? Gold contributes about 63% of our exports in 2025. So how do we diversify from that? How do we take advantage of the windfalls that we are seeing to be able to diversify the export and diversify the economy? And that's where the critical question has to be. For example, the small scale sector, right? It doesn't contribute as much to taxes. So how do we generate more taxes from that
enough
sector?
Revenue from? So that's Alfred Appiah. I interacted with him yesterday. That's why you're hearing my voice lingering in there. So in terms of how to reduce this loss, it does appear that to a certain extent, there's a general admission that we cannot repeat the losses from last year in this year. And so, in terms of some work being done, there's been at least some action taken in that respect. There'll be a lot later this morning as well, when the guys join us in studio in relation to our big conversation, and as well the CEO of the Gold Board, Sami Gyamfi, himself will be at the Government Accountability Series and will seek to directly respond to these claims later on as well. But there are other things of quite interest to us. I see there are a number of papers as well which came in late, which we can get details of, and then we can focus. There's the hostel matter, which perhaps after the review, then we'll get into that as well.
Certainly.
Just quickly.
All right, so the Daily Guide and the Ghanaian Times have landed on our desks. The Daily Guide front page has this to say: NPP chairmanship race over 50 constituency chairman back Ejako. That's captured on page 3. Treat mining communities as development partners, not land donors. Gold Board CEO Sami Gyamfi speaking, also pictured here on the front page. Respond to Kwewu Kingmaker's petition, Shrash to Eugene Asante Buedi. Minority calls Gold Board to answer for 22 billion Ghana cedi gold sales loss. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, ban aboboyas from highways, stakeholders demand. Gepa Guta agree measures to protect local traders. Oil output rises after years of decline. And Gold Board 22 billion Ghana cedi loss. Minority demands answers. You've got Minority Leader Afenyo Marking pictured here speaking at the briefing yesterday. Quickly to the back page of the Ghanaian Times. Upper West gets 4 million cedi expanded renal care units, and Ghana to implement UN new urban agenda. That's coming from the deputy minister. So those are the stories there on the front pages of the Ghanaian Times and the Daily Guide.
A bit more in terms of reactions. There's a concern being raised by Daniel Iduafari as to interference in our stream. Daniel, duly noted, we'll work on that and have that restored, right? Neron de Boanerges returns against us. It's simple. Let's get Appiah Markin and ask him, how does BOG's loss become Gold Board's loss? William Nyako says, good morning, Mawuena and team. It looks like IMF is not comfortable with progress made by Ghana economically, hence their comment. He says, I'm not quite sure that's what it is. I mean, they will report what is supposed to be reported. Very good conversation. Barack Ra says this morning, my question is, almost all of the agencies in Ghana went bankrupt under the SWAL NPP, including ECG and BOG, that ran a negative huge losses. Today, the rates for bank interest are better for business people in Ghana. Exchange rate is better than all time. Food price, rice, maize, others all-time low after Ghanaians struggle with them for years. So in terms of what Gold Board is doing and should do better than the narratives we are hearing, is it not a good thing where everyone in Ghana is benefiting, he asks? Is the minority not playing mischief, probably because the system is working against the few who enrich themselves other than all of us benefiting? Isn't that what governance is? Thank you, guys. There's Blessed from Sotum sending that one in as well. Let's get into the rent control matters, right? And I mean, we're doing the review segment in relation to this one. But there was some other matter which was of interest, which we were supposed to have touched on briefly as well. Yes, has to do with some Ghanaians caught in the Russia-Ukraine war. We've lost as many as 55 were killed, Ghanaians who left the shores of the country and went to fight in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. The foreign minister provided some detail on that score. The foreign minister provided some detail on that score for us yesterday. Can we listen to the minister just briefly, and then perhaps quickly, and then the rent control as well, because that's of quite some interest. Here's the foreign affairs minister, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa.
The government of Ghana is also seriously disturbed by reports of Ghanaian youth who are lured through deceptive employment schemes and subsequently deployed to participate in the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. Information received during my visit to Kiev indicated that approximately 272 Ghanaian nationals are believed to have been recruited into the conflict since 2022, with an estimated 55 reported dead and 2 currently being held as prisoners of war, whom we continue to negotiate their release. And I must say, the talks are proving very positive, and we are really optimistic about the outcome. Ladies and gentlemen, it is estimated that 1,780 African nationals from 36 countries are supposedly fighting on the Russian side. Many such victims were recruited through false promises of employment in construction, hospitality, logistics, and security services before being compelled to undergo military training and deployment to combat zones. The government has initiated diplomatic engagements with the relevant authorities to establish the identities and welfare of affected Ghanaians, while working with domestic security agencies to investigate recruitment networks targeting Ghanaian youth. Public education campaigns are also being undertaken to encourage prospective migrants to verify overseas employment opportunities before traveling, to remain vigilant against fraudulent recruitment schemes. I must place on record that our engagement with Russian authorities so far indicate that the Russian government is willing to work with us to unravel these human trafficking schemes. The government of the Russian Federation has denied their involvement in these schemes, and I hope to continue these engagements with Russian authorities on my visit to Moscow next month.
Have been killed. 272 were lured into the conflict since 2020. In numbers, those are Ghanaians who are being armed in a war they have absolutely no knowledge about. When I say no knowledge about, theirs is, they don't have anything to do with the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, and so
they just found themselves caught up in the crossfire. You recall the documentary that Godwin Asedeba put together over a year ago, almost coming up to 2 years, I think, a year ago, and how some of these individuals get caught up in wars. I think his piece took him to Ukraine
at some point,
and so that these gentlemen had been lured by a certain agent who was promising security work in Ukraine, only for them to arrive in the country, have their passports and other documentation confiscated, and found themselves at the front line of the war. Is it fair?
It's not.
Actually at the front line of the war. So you go thinking you're going to get a security job, only to find yourself being given helmets, guns, all of that, and told, go and fight for another republic. It's encouraging, though, to hear the Foreign Affairs Minister say that one person or 2 people, I think one person that is now a prisoner of war, could potentially, see a swift release, because talks are ongoing and are proving to be fruitful. Fingers, toes, everything crossed that it is in fact fruitful in the end.
Absolutely. We're going to do sports. We'll get into the rent control matters as part of our conversations on the big issues this morning as well. The big conversation, I should say. And so we'll get into it, because something ought to be done. Excessive profiteering to the detriment of everybody else. I mean, it's a fair argument that go to East Legon and see, but I mean, when it begins to directly affect access to education, the government cannot do everything. The government cannot go into building hostels and owning it so that citizens can benefit. No, a government's business cannot be. If there's a challenge everywhere, then we say, government should do no. But it can provide the enabling environment and ensure that the citizens are not fleeced off. Right. So yes, you can put up your hostel and all of that, but you can't seek to recover all the money you put into the building in 1 year or 2. That's not how it works. So yeah, we understand them, and the concern is legitimate as to, yes, the facility is owned by them. It's not under a tenancy agreement like we have it for residential areas and all of that, but it's concerning.
That's right.
Right, it's concerning, and so we'll get into that conversation as well. But big thanks, Helen, Appiah, Ampofo, as always, here with us with the news review segment. We'll get into sports right now with Mutala Yakubu, after which we'll return with a bit more for you here on the 3FM Sunrise.
Let's get into sports this morning on 3FM Sunrise. My name is Mutala Yakubu. Coming up this morning, a lot's happening with Ghanaian players who are on the move. The latest is Abdul Momin, who has joined at Girona. And also, Andrea Ayew has talked about why grassroots support is needed to ensure football gets back to the standard that it deserves. And also, Asante Kotoko new coach Eric Tinkler has been speaking about the club and what he hopes to achieve at the end of the season. Let's start off from the camp of Asante Kotoko, whose head coach Eric Tinkler has expressed optimism about the chances of his side winning the Ghana Premier League at the end of the 2026-27 football season. The South African tactician joined the Ghanaian Giants in July and has since been working with his players to prepare for the new campaign. Speaking in a post-match interview after Kotoko defeated Heart of Lions in the preseason friendly on Tuesday, Eric Tinkler stressed that the target for the season is to compete for the league title.
The target is to finish in the top 2. That's the target. I didn't come here to just earn a salary. I came here to win things. That's the most important thing. I came here to win things. I came here to achieve things. I've achieved things in my coaching career and I want to continue achieving. I'm a very ambitious person, so yeah, you're going to see me like you saw me today. I think we have the material to compete for the league. That's important, you know. Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, reality is in football, especially you're dealing with human beings. You're not dealing with a product. You know, and those human beings have personalities, have characters, have good days, bad days, and we have to deal with that and hopefully get the best out of them come the end of the season. It's my passion and my desire to want to achieve and win things.
Eric Tinkler, the coach of Asante Kotoko, he also added that player indiscipline both on and off the field was a major issue when he first arrived at the club. He said the technical team had to clear out what he described as the rotten element to create more discipline and high professional environment for Asante Kotoko.
I'm here to teach. I'm here to help the players improve their game and ultimately manage them. You know, I think the discipline both on the field and off the field. Obviously, that was an issue when I arrived, you know, but I think we've dealt with that really, really well. We've got rid of the rotten element that existed in the club. And today you can see everyone is united, everybody's fighting for the same cause, and it's a positive thing to see.
You've got experience here in the team.
That is Eric Tinkler talking about discipline at Asante Kotoko. Let's move on to former Black Stars captain and FIFA Under-20 World Cup winner Andre Ayew, who has reiterated his commitment to supporting grassroots football in Ghana, saying greater attention and investment are needed to nurture the next generation of football talent. Ayew, reflecting on his own journey from grassroots, stressed the importance of giving young players the opportunity and support needed to realize their full potential.
When it comes from sports, our youth, I'm always into it. I was just in the Ashanti region, then in the Volta region. I'm moving around just because
3FM 92.7.
Now, this donation is something huge because it's not just about football, it's about the constituency games. That's everywhere, every community, and so many sports. If you're a sportsman or a footballer, you cannot just be into football or all the sports. Ghana gave me everything. But everything started from my grassroots. I played football when I was 6, 7, 8, growing up, playing in the communities. And that's what brought me to where I am today. So for me, being here today is something great, something lovely. And I want to say a big thank you again to everybody that's here, all the organizers.
That is former Black Stars captain Andre Mawuena Ayew there talking about grassroots football. Let's go to Obuasi, where Ebuswan Dwarfs have been crowned 2026 Division 1 League Super Cup champions after defeating the Semperfi on penalties in a dramatic final at the Obuasi Lincoln Stadium. The game ended 1-1 after 90 minutes before Dwarfs held their nerve to win 5-4 in a shootout. There's more in the following reports.
Ebuswan Dwarfs crowned the memorable X1 Energy Drink Division 1 League Super Cup campaign by lifting the trophy in Obuasi. Both sides battled fiercely in a closely contested final, with the scores level at 1-1 after 90 minutes. The title was therefore decided from the spot, where Dwarfs proved more composed, converting 5 penalties to beat Semperfi 5-4 and claim the trophy. Ebuswan Dwarfs coach John Eduafo praised his players for their fighting spirits after the final whistle.
It has to do with the players' commitment, determination, and tactical discipline. And I think that has brought us to this far. Focus and concentration. I think we are here, and finally we have won the trophy.
Semperfi, who had reached the final without conceding a goal in the group stage, finished runners-up after an impressive run to the final. Their head coach, Christian Mafakoto, ruled his sides missed chances.
But to create a lot of chances like we have been doing, and we did create a lot of chances, especially in the first half, and we concluded the same way that I wish we wouldn't have, and we didn't take those chances. And I think we know what our issues are. That's the main thing. That's what this pre-season tournament is for, to see what our problems are and see how we can find solutions before the league starts. So as for me today, I'm happy with the performance, but we fell a bit short because we didn't really resolve the issues we've been having all tournament.
Earlier in the day, Ashram Davis secured third place after edging Sopon Fidelity 1-0 in the third place playoff. Sponsors of this year's event, Ocean International Limited, promised to invest more into football and other local sporting activities in the country after a successful week-long tournament in Obuasi.
Probably more sponsorships in the football community and even aside football, because I mean it's energy drink, it's a solid brand, and there are more things we can achieve outside football, athletics or sports. So in future, I'm sure when we get there, we'll all see.
It's a report on the Division 1 Super Cup that just concluded yesterday at the Obuasi Linkley Stadium. Now let's go international, where former Arsenal and France midfielder Patrick Vieira has taken on a new challenge after being appointed head coach of Senegal national team, and his appointment has generated a lot of interest across Africa, given his pedigree, and we'll be monitoring proceedings to see what he does. To Spain, where Ghana international Abdul Mumin has revealed that Girona's attractive style of football and ambitious long-term project were major factors behind his decision to join the Spanish club ahead of the 2026-27 season. The 28-year-old centre-back completed a free transfer to Girona after leaving La Liga side Rayo Vallecano. Now, Mumin has signed a 3-year deal with them and says that he hopes to achieve bigger things with Girona.
The main thing that attracted me to Girona, I think, is the club itself, Girona. I think it's a club with a lot of history, And over the past years, the type of football they play is very attractive. And I believe that all footballers that wants to improve in their professional career, it's a project that they'll look up to. So.
Abdul Mumin was actually part of Ghana's squad for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now, new Barcelona midfielder Rodri has issued an emotional farewell letter to Manchester City after completing his £65.4 million transfer to the Catalan side. Having spent 7 incredible successful seasons at Etihad Stadium, the 2024 Ballon d'Or winner and 2026 World Cup champion bade a heartfelt goodbye to the club, staff, and supporters.
Dear City fans, I found that saying goodbye is one of the most difficult things in life, but I'm going to try. It's hard to find the words to express how much gratitude, love, and support me and my family have experienced all these years. I remember how I felt when I arrived, signing for the big Manchester City. It was a moment of pure excitement. Wow, I'm going to play with Kevin, Aguero, Silva, Bernardo, John, and many others. I couldn't stop smiling. And then Pep, waiting to teach me everything from day one. Pep, I can tell you now, I couldn't handle all those tactics in my head. But a question came to me. Could we handle all these expectations for the next years? I think that time answered the question. I knew I came into a top team, but I never thought we could be able to create the legacy we made, winning trophies, fans around the world, love and respect. We made an example to inspire the next generation, not only because of the success, also because the way we did it. And the fans were with us every step of the way. Many incredible moments come to my mind. My first trophy at City in my first game. The last-minute winners like Arsenal away, scoring in the Villa game to reach the Premier League when it looked so tough, scoring the goal to win the Champions League that we all wanted so much. The incredible reception you gave me after the Ballon d'Or, you cannot imagine how proud I am to be the first player to win this award in a sky blue shirt. Making history with the trebles, with 4 in a row, we saw things they'll never see. And in the bad moments also, you never let me down. My first day back on the pitch, I realized how much you love me, and I understood how special these fans were. City didn't just make me grow as a player, they make me grow as a human. I saw my brother graduating for the Manchester Metropolitan University. I could see my girlfriend working for the NHS. Manchester shaped my whole life. I will never forget stepping into the pitch, seeing a sea of blue singing, na 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 na, City. Taking my scooter into town for a coffee, walking through the parks, listening to Oasis, and always loving Manchester great rain. So City fans, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you for the club, the fans, the staff, and my teammates. This journey couldn't be the same without you. My heart will always be
3FM 92.
30-year-old Rodrigo Cascante bidding farewell to Manchester City after completing a move to Barcelona in the region of £65.4 million. Manchester City definitely are going to miss Rodrigo and his quality. Now let's finish off with Sam 10 as well. World number 1, Arina Sabalenka needed just 54 minutes to reach the Cincinnati Open fourth round, but Daniel Medvedev could not hide his frustration after missing 3 match points in a surprise defeat. Sabalenka did not face a break point in a 6-1, 6-3 win over China's Wang Ziyu, and the Belarusian lost only 6 points in 8 service games and committed just 5 unforced errors to 17 winners in a composed performance. It was Sabalenka's easiest win for some time following a fourth round Wimbledon exit and an early loss in Canada last week. That's all by way of sports here on Sunrise. My name is Mutala Yakubu. There's more on all our socials, R3 Sports GH. The show continues right after this.
The best in
minorities address yesterday. Maxwell, my brother is called Maxwell as well. Yeah. So, Mr. Fosubuachi, thank you very much. It's the first time you're in studio with us.
Yes, this is my first time, but
Great.
Not the first time in this house.
Great.
Okay.
It's always good to have you. I'm going to start with you because the minority in Parliament are the ones who are making the demand and are asking all of the important questions. And so there's been a few rebuttals that's come be attributable to why it cost the country 22 billion cedis to trade in gold.
Good morning, my brother. And then good morning to my colleague panelists here. Doesn't matter in whose books the 22 billion sits. Do you agree that there is a debt of 22 billion? Because it's the same government. We don't have this is not an NPP or an NDC government. This is just one government in a whole. The entire government has run a program and which has resulted in a loss of about 22 billion. Whether the 22 billion sits in the books of Gold Board or sits in the books of Bank of Ghana is immaterial. Okay, the point is that process of acquiring gold has attracted or has made the Bank of Ghana or Gold Board, the two of them, incurred losses to the tune of 22 billion. That is where our worry is. But you see, we are all trying to say that Gold Board should, just as Gold Board always touts itself that they've helped accumulate more reserves in terms of forex for this economy, and wants everybody to praise them. In a similar vein, why are they running away from their losses? If you claim that you are the very person that has helped attract more forex for the economy, what of the losses that has been incurred as a result of your outfit purchasing gold in exchange for these forex? Obviously, you cannot run away from it. So this is the Bank of Ghana. The NPP is only saying that you cannot take credit for the gains while distancing yourself from the cost or losses that has been incurred. So that is the first point. Number two, what is baffling to me, surprising, is the amount that has been incurred as cost, 22 billion. Aren't you surprised? Yes, during our days, we incurred costs. In fact, the Gold Reserve Program is the baby of NPP.
All right.
No one can run away from this. It's the baby policy of NPP. We introduced it. Initially, we were able to purchase 3.47 tons of gold. Then it came to 37.02 tons of gold. That was, 2022, 3.47. 2023, 37 tons of gold. And 2024, 56.47 tons of gold. And 2025, NDC has scaled it up to 110 tons of gold. Let nobody create the impression that like it's being created out there, or the impression that is being painted out there, as if Ghana started accumulating or purchasing gold because of the introduction of, or the christening of, PMMC into now what we refer to as Gold Board. This thing has been there since our time. And the point is, NDC in their manifesto criticized us and even went ahead to say that they were going to investigate appointees of NPP for these same losses that we are talking about. But it wasn't at this magnitude. That is where my worry is. It is the magnitude of the loss that some of us are saying that if tomorrow comes, we are going to scrutinize the process that led to these losses. Others are saying that these are operational losses. Yes, we are Gold Board or PMMC then, because of the gold purchase arrangement, was structured to make certain losses, but not this magnitude. This is too huge.
But is it not because of the scaling up?
The scaling up
the scaling
of
up
what?
nature, right?
Scaling up of what?
And I'm going to provide a bit more from the IMF's own report that 2024 losses in 2024 are equivalent to almost $400 million.
Yes.
That was under the NPP, accounting to some 0.5% of GDP, 1/3 of which were related to gold for oil related activities. Now, this is how the IMF frames it, that in 2025, they say the significant scaling up.
Scaling up of what?
Of the domestic gold purchase program.
Okay.
Operations led to losses of over 1.7 billion. Does the phrase significant scaling up not answer for the fact that in scaling up, then you are also scaling up the losses? Because, I mean, there's a general admission. I'm just asking that question.
Let's say it's been doubled. Would that amount to 1.7 billion? We purchased 4 billion worth of gold, okay, and made losses of almost $400 million worth of.
You purchased 4 billion worth of gold in 2024. That is
for the gold purchase arrangement by Bank of Ghana, 4 million worth of gold, and we made losses of $400 million. In the same vein, Gold Board has purchased, or let me say, Bank of Ghana has purchased a little over $10 billion worth of gold, and has made losses of $1.7 billion. Aren't you scared? At least, if we are to go by the 2024 standard, the 1.7 billion loss should have given us about 16 billion worth of gold. Do you agree with me with that? If you have to go by the 2024, the losses that we made, this should have given us about 16 billion worth of gold, not the 10 billion. So why should 10 billion cost you 1.7, whilst you have $4 billion having us incur $4 million loss of gold? So that argument is a non-starter. It doesn't come in at all. The situation has worsened. In fact, in percentage terms, if you look at it, during our days, the percentage of loss was 10% in 2024. But if you are to look at how much has come to in terms of revenue to Bank of Ghana in dollar terms, it is now 17%. So what has changed? The additional $700 million. What has accounted for that loss? And in any event, you see, our losses go or run above the 1.7 million. You know why? Because during our days, we were taking what we call withholding taxes from small-scale miners, which was revenue that was also coming in. NDC, since taking over, abolished the withholding taxes. So the benefit that we were getting in addition to the gold that we purchased, that has also been lost. So if we are to add that to the losses, we will travel beyond the 22 billion that we are talking about. Let's even take the withholding taxes. You remember our days, not every gold was purchased by Bank of Ghana. But the record has it that the gold that went through PMMC was about $10 billion during our days. But Bank of Ghana, as part of the gold purchase arrangement and the gold, the gold purchase arrangement and the gold for reserve, managed to procure 4 billion worth of gold. Mm-hmm. So considering the 1.5% withholding tax that we charged, those that went through PMMC, we benefited. My own estimation is not from any official source, but by this, assuming everything that went through PMMC attracted a 1.5% withholding tax, it means the country raked in about $150 million. Let's subtract that from the 400 million IMF is talking about. It means ours will be lessened in terms of the debt accumulation. So that is why we are saying that the processes that Gold Board is using is questionable. It is opaque. It is not transparent. Because one, the purchasing of gold, the pricing, the sales decision, the discounted sales decision of Gold Board is also part of the reasons why we are accruing so much. And the deferred sales, they will accumulate gold and later on decide to sell. Meanwhile, during our days, we were using spot pricing. You buy, you sell, you make minimal losses. So it is the structure that is making us make so much losses. That is why we are saying that the opaque system has to be investigated. We don't know the single aggregator, that monopoly that they are enjoying. I've heard spokespersons of Gold Board say that they had to bring in special incentives to get the gold because
smuggling and all of that.
No, previously during that we had smuggling. As we speak, we still have smuggling going on.
30 more seconds, because
we still have smuggling going on. So does it make sense to incur losses of 1.7 billion? It doesn't.
All right.
It doesn't make sense at all. So I believe there is something fishy going on, especially when you have Bank of Ghana that is supposed to be the chief beneficiary of this purchase, running away from its own policy, saying that it is effective match. It has stopped giving Gold Board money to purchase gold.
Right.
So I believe that should tell us something is going on that we all don't know. And if Gold Board is minded by now, because this has been a public discussion, by now they should have come out openly to let us know the processes that led us into accruing or incurring these losses.
Right. 10 minutes and some seconds is what I gave you. Are you sure they've not come out to provide some explanation? But
the reasons why we incurred the 22 billion.
Yeah. 053 220-0927. In fact, the IMF report points to assay and service fees, exchange rate losses, and some others, right? But I mean, okay. I gave you 10 minutes, so I want to move.
You are coming back at my argument, so I need to clarify this. Assaying is just simple.
I gave you 10 minutes, so I just want to.
It's just about refining the gold. So every point in time, Bank of Ghana cannot buy gold from PMMC or in this case Gold Board without it purity level being tested. It has to be determined before Bank of Ghana can quantify.
Let me go to Dr. Kwanti now. He's a member of the NDC communications team. Doc, 10 minutes as well. This is the argument by the NPP, and they say that look, 22 billion cedis is a lot. Who sells gold and makes a 22 billion cedi loss? There must be some explanation to the Ghanaian people as to why up to 22 billion cedis of loss sits on the BOG's account from trading in gold, something which is selling record highs on the international market.
Good morning to you, and good morning to my co-panelists, and good morning to your cherished viewers as well. I suppose the first thing we would probably say is, my brother said that it doesn't matter in whose books the loss sits. So if it doesn't matter in whose books the losses sit, why are we having this conversation in the first place? So if it sits in the books of the Bank of Ghana, then that is perfectly fine. Then if it doesn't matter whose books the losses actually sit. But look, let me say that yesterday's presser was a dishonest manipulation of mathematics. Complete dishonest manipulation of mathematics. Okay, the opposition are very front-bench opposition. Frontliners are very clever accountants. So I wouldn't call it financial illiteracy. So I call it.
Kindly draw a bit closer to the microphone.
A simple distortion of the facts. All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
So for me, it's a simple distortion of the facts. Okay, look, you can say that what they have done is to weaponize numbers. It's a game of numbers here. Okay. Are we saying that 22 billion was only incurred under Gold Board in 2025? Hell no. It includes the losses in 2023 and 2024 that have been aggregated, to what we have today.
I mean, the report speaks directly to just 2025.
It does, but what are the losses in 2023 and 2024?
That's not been added. That's not been added.
Look at it again.
I have the IMF report.
Okay, fine. Be it as it may,
directly in front of me.
It's something
it says 400 million in 2024.
Yep.
And then 1.7 billion in 2025.
Okay, fine. So be such as may, there are some people who hold that school of thought. All right, it's out there. We can research it. That losses in 2023, 2024, would have been possibly been added. But if that is not the case,
that's not the case.
No problem. It is fine. We can move on. But I'm still saying that it's a school of thought held by some people out there. It's an opinion held that I'm just restating that opinion. Okay. So moving forward, look. let's try and give some clarity to this. There are reasons why Gold Board would have made these losses. First of all, let's just say that we spoke about accounting variance. Okay, because of the fact that we wanted to buy gold on spot prices to ensure that smuggling was curtailed, to ensure that the smuggling cartels, were sort of disarmed, we bought gold at top CD. In other words, the market prices, market prices prevailing. What that then meant was that, so we're talking about forex prices here, but the Bank of Ghana has to enter these losses in their books at the exchange rate given by the Bank of Ghana. And so straight away, the variance there accounts for the majority of those losses. So that's the first one. Right. The second one would obviously have been the fees that the Bank of Ghana paid to Gold Board. Okay, so there are safe fees and so on and so forth. Obviously, that is on their books as well. Right. The third one has to do with off-taking, right? So off-taker discounts and so on and so forth. Again, that would also lead to some sort of losses. So that comes in there as well. All right. Then, of course, if you put all of these things together, that is why we have some of those losses. But listen, the formula for buying gold was not given by the NDC. That formula was the formula that has been in place since 2023, that you buy at top CD, you buy at market price rate, so that you can cut off the smuggling. So it was not our baby that you buy gold at that particular price. So that is the first thing. But let me just put it this way. Let's just say, for instance, let's just say that Gold Board made a loss. Okay, what are we talking about? 1.7 billion losses. Okay, compared to what? 10.8 billion losses raked in. 22 billion. That means that if you go by the current exchange rate, then we're talking about 110 billion coming in. So if you subtract 22 from 110, or the difference, what do you get? Let me give an example here. Let's just say that we get to a point where 3FM is no longer making profit. So you decide you want to sell rice. Okay, so they send your producer to go and buy rice. They give him 1,000 cedis to buy rice, but they also give him money for transport. Your producer goes off to the market, he buys the rice in quantities just exactly as you prescribe. He comes back, and then you sell the rice, and then you make a huge profit. Okay, but remember you gave me 100 cedis for his, for his transport. Now he used that money for his trotro, but he also bought a bowl of rice because he was running out of energy. Okay, so then we come back, we sell the rice, we make a lot of money. Then, a few days down the line, somebody comes from, let's just say GTV, and says, you made a loss. We made a loss. That was the cost of our business. All right? Now, what money did we use the rice money for? The profit we made from the rice perhaps bought you loudspeakers. It perhaps bought you, new lights. It perhaps paid you more salaries. So what was the benefit of the gold, the losses, even if you like? The CD was stabilized. The reason why the CD is what it is today is because of Gold Board. Otherwise, inflation will not be what it is today. And remember, inflation is 4.6 as we currently speak. The CD exchange rate is about 11 CDs, and then their watch, it was about 17. Look at the cost. Of course, you handed it to us at around 14, okay, but it's not 14 at the moment. But look at the cost. All right. So the benefits are clearly there. Is it the outsider, in this case, the IMF, who should tell us that we have made a loss when we can clearly see the benefits? Why do we have the macro stability we have today? Because the CD is strong. Why is the CD strong? Because of the money Gold Board made, $10.8 billion. 10.6 of that went into intermediation and strengthening the CD as we speak today. But you know what? If you want to talk loss, don't take my words for it. Check ECG. Who led ECG? It was Appiah marking. Why did ECG leave us? ECG left us a debt of about 15 million cedis in terms of, as it were, training fees and travel fees. They left a debt of 8.6 billion cedis. All right. So look, they say that if you come to equity, you must come with clean hands. The man leading the mob, the man leading the executioners is Appiah marking. His hands are not clean as I speak here. Let's move on. But let's look at Gold Board. Let's look at Gold Board's book. The facts that really matter to us is what the Auditor General says at the moment. Gold Board made a profit of $5.44 billion. That is what matters as we speak now. That money is not gone anywhere. That money is sitting in their cities. Apologies. That money is sitting in their books. All right. If you take their total reserve, it's about 8.77 billion. That money hasn't gone anywhere. That money sits in their books. All right, we can move this conversation forward, and we can even look at the colonized, the neo-colonial angle. Okay, look, the IMF and foreign institutions, the Bretton Woods, have never liked the idea that we as a country will be independent financially.
But this is a completely different subject matter. We're
talking about IMF, isn't it? That is where the policy is coming from. That is where the criticism is coming from. But
would you call it a criticism when they are just highlighting?
They have highlighted it, but look, they also say that it's a policy-driven accounting variance, not a shortfall. The same IMF says that. But I pivot back to my point, okay? Look, it has never been the case that Bretton Woods institutions have wanted independent African countries that are self-reliant. Why is that? Because if our institutions are weak, then of course what it will mean is that we'll always go to the IMF for loans. It will always be that we are subservient to them. So they have always pushed back the whole of Africa towards institutions that are credible and independent and will bring some sovereignty to us. What did Nkrumah say? That our independence is meaningless unless we can have economic independence. What Gold Board would have given us is economic independence. All right. So for me, what has happened here is that you have an opposition that has essentially become the cheerleaders of the IMF. All right, leading the IMF and professing to juxtapose the IMF's books with that of the Auditor General and claiming that the IMF's reports are superior to that of the Auditor General. I find that to be disingenuous. Also, think about it. It was the MPP that came along, the opposition that came along with, above the line and below the line. So they were the first ones to contest IMF policies. It's never been our policy to do that. So look, the idea is that Gold Board is making profit, all right? Under their watch, what did they may have incurred 400 million in losses, but what did it produce? It produced a weak cedi. The economy was a junk one, all right? The economy was a junk one. It produced, inflation was 54%, it came down to 23%. But what benefits are we getting from Gold Board today? A strong cedi, all right? Inflation as low as 4.6%. It affects every sphere of our lives as a country. But think of this, policy has a cost. Every policy has a cost. And that means in care cost. Right. You might decide to build roads, it's a cost. You might decide you want free SHS, it's a cost. But what you do is you separate the cost from the policy. But these guys are not separating the cost from the policy.
So we suffer the 22 billion cedis cost.
But I've explained what the 22 billion is.
I'm feeding from the point you're making.
Of course, but then you need to compare that to what we have brought back in. All right? 22 billion cedis, we brought in 110 billion. Even if you do the mathematics, what is the retention there? So the idea is that, look, it's like I said, we need to compare, we need to separate policy from cost. I can sit here and say that by giving free SHS to children of millionaires, free SHS to children of millionaires in secondary schools, maybe it's a kind of, but it's a benefit to it. And so the idea is that there's a cost there, but is there a benefit? And the benefits far outweigh the cost, in my opinion. And I will say that, look, they can hunt Sami Gyamfi as much as he wants. That's because he has done something they could never do. He has aggregated gold, and that their watch gold was smuggled to Dubai. What we have done is to protect that gold and to use it to back our cedi.
Thank you. You've done same 10:17 for me. You're still live with us here on the 3FM Sunrise. Share your thoughts with us, right? 053-220-0927. We're live on Facebook as well. Also live on YouTube. 053-220-0927. Ebo, let me come to you on the argument as to the losses and whether or not the Ghanaian economy is better off for it, even as we ask questions as to why we're making such a loss in the first place.
Let me say good morning to your good self, our listeners and my colleagues here. Good morning. Good morning. You see, yesterday's press conference was an attack on Gold Board. It wasn't an attack on just the losses. It was a specific attack on Gold Board. And that is why Afenyo Makin kept saying that, and this is what he said. I want to quote something that he said so that we can all agree that it matters where the loss is recorded. It matters. We concede it. We concede it is the Auditor General that has conducted an audit but was not granted access to the full picture. If the Auditor General knew the cost of gold board transactions were borne by BOG, it wouldn't declare surplus in its accounting reporting. In other words, what Afenyomakin said was that there was a cost that was supposed to be attributed to gold board, but Bank of Ghana kept that cost. And as a result of that, gold board recorded surplus. But if that cost had been entered in the books of gold board wouldn't have made the surplus. But the question is, if an agent takes a decision on behalf of its principal and cost is borne or gain is made, where is it recorded? Is it recorded in agent's books or the principal's books? This is very simple. There is no way agent will give money, a principal will give money to an agent to take a decision on its behalf, and that when you are accounting for the money, it will sit in the recording will be done by the agent. It is the principal, the one who sent the money, who gave the money out, who will record. That is why Bank of Ghana records that. These losses were not losses of gold board. Let's accept it. Of course, there's a reason why gold board has become a target. But we should be very consistent in the way we talk about accounting principles. I mean, just think about it. Bank of Ghana wants to buy gold. Bank of Ghana has its official exchange rate. But the rate at which the gold is sold out there is the spot rate, which is higher than Bank of Ghana's official rate. Now, in order to be able to be competitive in buying gold, you have to buy it at a spot price, spot market price, or rate. Now, granted, or let's for simplicity's sake, let's take it that Bank of Ghana's rate is $1 is equal to 10 cedis. But out there, it is $1 is equal to 12 cedis. So a gold board would have to buy the gold at that price. But when it brings the gold to Bank of Ghana and Bank of Ghana is recording it, Bank of Ghana cannot record it with the exchange rate out there. Bank of Ghana can only record it with its official exchange rate. So the difference of 2 cedis becomes a loss. We call it translation loss or accounting loss.
3FM.
It is not loss as a result of commercial activity by Bank of Ghana. It's not commercial loss. It is called translation loss or accounting loss. Who should record this? Should it be Gold Board or Bank of Ghana? It should be Bank of Ghana. So why do you blame Gold Board for doing its work as an agent? And why don't you blame the Bank of Ghana for deciding to buy the gold? Because certainly, once you buy the gold, you will incur that loss. Anyone would have incurred this loss, whether MPP, NDC, UPC, PP, because that's how it works. Because there's no way anybody will sell his will go to you at Bank of Ghana rate. They will not do it. They will go to the spot price outside and sell it. So in order to prevent smuggling, you have to also compete and buy it at the price being sold out there. And so why should this be why should it be a problem? Why should it be a problem for MPP, a whole MPP, to organize press conference because of this? Are they saying, of course, they've admitted that they also incurred losses during their time. But it's not about incurring losses. It's about the benefit as well. If you do juxtaposition in terms of cost-benefit analysis, what was the effect of their gold trading on the economy? I'm talking about MPP. what was the state of the economy and the MPP. We are running an economy that is predominantly driven by imports. And as a result of that, the most important thing to control, to have control over, is your forex, your foreign exchange. So if you have a mechanism, a system in place that is helping you as a nation to control your foreign exchange, to have control over your foreign exchange, so that your economy will be stable, people can plan properly, your inflation can come down, you can cut down imported inflation, and for your inflation to come down, people can plan properly, businesses can do better. You are complaining about what? What is the MPP's complaint about? That Bank of Ghana has incurred losses and they want to force these losses on Gold Board? Is it because of Sami Gemfi? No, is it because of Sami Gemfi? Because Auditor General has conducted audit on Gold Board's activities. He said, no, the surplus that was declared by Auditor General, we don't accept it. Auditor General forcibly put that loss in Bank of Ghana's books. Put it in the books or on the books of Gold Board. Why should we do this to ourselves? Look at what has happened to this economy because of Gold Board. I am telling you, if MPP would have regretted, because last time I said that, I said Gold Board was in NDC manifesto 2020. When they lost the election, MPP should have been smarter to implement this policy. It's the best thing that has happened to our economy. It's the game changer of our economy. And you think IMF will be excited about it? Don't you think they'll be excited about it? Because IMF becomes irrelevant. If nations, if African countries would depend on their natural resources, gold and other things to strengthen the economy, what would be the use of IMF? Do you think they will be happy? But that's not even the case. But you think MPP will be happy that the economy is stabilized? If the economy is stabilized, what would be the basis for them to argue about the economy? Because the person they're going to present, all that they presented, all that we were made to know about him is that he's an economist. He's an economic risk kid. And unfortunately, he failed. So the only way he will become relevant in the system is when this government performs abysmally below his performance. But with this Gold Board and the way things are going, there's no way this economy will perform abysmally below Baume's performance. Hence the problem of NPP. I mean, look at the ranting. This guy was even sleeping. Codjoe was sleeping. Even when he was standing behind Appiah, he was sleeping. The man was sleeping because Appiah was not making any sense, honestly speaking. I was so shocked. Codjoe Nkrumah, somebody with accounting background, the things you know. You see, politics is the only thing that can make you instantly or suddenly more, let me put it bluntly, stupid. Because politics can make you accept things that are not real, or believe in things that you're not supposed to believe in, or take position that is contrary to your own conviction or conscience. No, but I've not insulted anybody. I'm saying that politics, and I'm giving you a reason why I'm saying that politics can make an intelligent person look stupid.
But you made reference to a particular person before you coming, subtly using that word difference.
Okay, so let me put it this way. Taking the person's name out, I'm saying that politics is the only thing that can make intelligent person sound stupid. And I'll give you instances. Because how can you argue that Gold Board should be the one to hold that loss in its books? How can you say that? When, in actual fact, if you look at principal-agent relationship, it's the principal that records the figures. So now they are running away. Look at the argument. Look at the way Honorable started. It doesn't matter in whose book it is recorded. It matters because the attack is on Gold Board. And now, upon reflection, they've come to the realization that they goofed. So now they are shifting the argument and it doesn't matter. It matters because Gold Board was the attack, was the one on whom the attack was given.
Right. About 10 minutes. You've done 10 minutes as well. I have to, unfortunately, reset this. Mark, let me come to you as well, but you can as well be a part of the conversation and contribute to the debate. 053-220-0927. I'm creating as much room for as many of us to make as many comments as possible. Mark, you have the floor now, 10 minutes as well in relation to the subject.
A very good morning to you, our cherished listeners and viewers, and to my good co-panelists here. I think that Good Board's arrangement with the Bank of Ghana preceded Sammy Gyamfi as a Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Good Board. And these arrangements or framework have been designed long ago, before Sammy Gyamfi took over office as the CEO of the Ghana Good Board. Having listened to various arguments from responses that came from the Good Board and what the Honorable Minority Leader read yesterday in his press conference, I want to say that it would have been wise that the IMF didn't say Good Board made losses, because in their own report, they clearly indicated that some of these losses were operational costs. And of course, whatever business you do, there are operational losses that comes. That is not to say that Gold Board should not be accountable to the operations that they embark on. Of course, it is also the work of the opposition and all meaningful Ghanaians to make sure that we are able to get the real accountability of the work of the Ghana Good Board. But one thing I'm much more interested about is the operations of the Good Board itself, what they stand to do, and also whether they are really doing what their mandate really allows them, to do. Some of their core mandates we know includes the regulation of the gold trading sector, buying, gold for the Bank of Ghana for reserves, and also supporting our foreign exchange. As we speak, Ghana's currency is performing better than it used to be. If you look at the current foreign exchange rate we have now, it cannot be compared to what we had in the past. And we know that these are all part of the mandate of the Ghana Gold Board. One other important thing that I am very happy about, and I would have been happy if the MPP had done this, is their ability to curtail or stop gold smuggling and the illegal trading of gold.
3FM 92.7.
We were here in this country when, in the previous administration, it's on record, that the quantity of gold that left the shores of Ghana, which were on record, or that were recorded, is way below the quantity of gold that were received outside Ghana.
Honorable Safumafo said that.
Yes. Honorable Safumafo said that.
What of 2016, 2015?
I'm coming. So it means that this has been a problem. If it happened in 2015, under the NDC, and it still happened in 2017 or 2018 under the NPP, then it means there's a problem. And that problem must be solved. Yes, that problem must be solved.
That's why we solved it. It's been solved. Thanks to NPP. Thanks to us.
That is why we need to solve it. You understand? And so if today our domestic gold purchasing program is incurring costs or losses under the NDC, and it's still incurring losses under the NPP, then we ask ourselves, what are they sitting there doing?
It is structured that way.
But it is structured that way. So why then do we want to blame Gold Board?
Yeah. It's the magnitude of losses that we are questioning.
And so let's juxtapose the magnitude of the losses and the benefits we have received. Okay. What about the benefits?
We have benefited a lot. And there is no businessman or businesswoman in this country or anywhere in the world who will do business and will not incur, how do you call it?
Cost of losses.
Cost of losses.
But 22 billion is quite steep, isn't it? I mean, that's the argument. We can look at the benefits to the economy and we can have that conversation. The conversation being had right now, or perhaps we want to merge it because it's a question that's coming up, right?
22 billion, right? We understand it is huge. But why are we choking the 22 billion in the necks of Gold Board? Why? Gold Board is an agent. Why aren't you asking BOG to come and respond to these issues?
Yeah.
And want to hang Gold Board.
Why are you also in a hurry to come to the defense of Gold Board?
No, it's not about hurrying to come in the defense of Gold Board.
I asked
you, and you said that is the framework.
It's max time, so I don't want to, because I'm doing 10 minutes each. So afterwards there will be time. You are eating into max time, so now I have to extend. I'm saying that there will be room for rebuttal.
You see,
so I beg you.
The charges, cited by the IMF and read by the Honorable Appiah Markin. Look, let's put this on record that it is not a free money that came from the Bank of Ghana. It is never a free money. You understand? And so let's be careful the way we want to hang Gold Board as if they went into the entire cost to incur this kind of losses. No, that is not it. And what I am very much happy about is that if not for anything at all, we've had a stabilization in our economy. What would the level of our inflation be? Not if Gold Board didn't come in as an intervention. Of course, I understand that this is an existing framework that Amegashie came to inherit. What benefit did it give us? And if you are talking about 22 billion, why do you still want to choke it, on the necks of Gold Board? When we know that Gold Board is just an agent. So what I'm saying is that, IMF, yes, they wouldn't want any independent country to be independent as it is. You recall that some time past they came out with a report that indicated that Gold Board have made losses of about $214 million. And Gold Board, refuted that fact. IMF didn't come back again. I didn't see any reports from IMF coming back. They are not happy. Of course. And it's about time as Ghanaian people and the people of Africa take hold, take possession, and make good use of our own mineral and natural resources. Why would it take IMF to come and give us all these reports? And what are our institutions doing? Let's go to the records of Gold Board itself. Let's go to their financial records. Have they incurred any loss? They say they've made surpluses.
5.44.
So 5.44. So let's deal with Gold Board separately, if you want, and deal with Bank of Ghana and question Bank of Ghana why we made these losses. Because Gold Board doesn't trade Forex. And so whatever amount of money Gold Board uses to purchase the gold, when it gets to the differentials, the
exchange rate differentials, yeah.
The exchange rate differentials, it is Bank of Ghana that bears those responsibilities. Why then do we blame Gold Board?
And they are just accounting loss.
Now if you look at the statement read by the minority and what they are actually saying, it's about governance, and good governance for that matter. We are looking at who would come to do better things for us as a people. It is not about when we come. Officials of Gold Board should be mindful that bail conditions will be very tough for them. This cannot account to good governance. If you're making a statement and you're making a claim, I think we should go ahead and make those claims, make those statements, put in arguments. But to come along the line to say, when we come and you are arrested, when we come, we arrest you. And when we arrest you, it will be very difficult because you need to bring, some people say you have to bring Jesus Christ.
No, 50 billion Ghana cedis.
What?
I mean, the minority leader
was so childish. It was so childish.
Childish in your mind.
Childish.
How do you say
in
this?
Your
mind.
bro.
Why do you say this?
Childish
in your opinion.
Why do you say this?
Because
The leader of your party speak like that.
What do you mean? What did you guys say?
Have the floor.
Mark, it's like your time.
They are eating into my time, so I have 3 minutes more. I know. So what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that it is like the MPP have already chained the Ghana Gold Board and its officials, and have made us know that when table turns, they're going to go after Gold Board without making any substantial claim or making sure that you have caught them red-handed in doing things that they are not supposed to do. I mean, why do you come out with those statements?
Who will steal and record it in
Nobody does that.
Who will steal and record it in a book?
That single comment alone, that when we come, bail conditions will be something so tough for the officials of Gold Board, defeats the purpose for which this press conference was done.
That's not your problem.
I mean, you shouldn't have done that.
That shouldn't be your problem.
We are talking about good governance. And the Ghanaian people are watching. CSOs are watching. Everybody is watching. Make clear arguments. Make good statements so that we can support it. But to end up saying, when we come, bailing will be a difficult thing for you. It means that it is something you have targeted to do. It is something you have purportedly, strategically, decided to do without looking at the substantive issues. I think this is bad. Let's give, credit where it is due.
Right.
Whatever Gold Board is doing, I believe they're doing something good. They recorded surpluses. If we have any question or if we have anything to demand from the domestic gold purchasing program, it should be directed to the Bank of Ghana and not Gold Board.
Right, thank you. 11:30 because of the interjections. I'm going to come to Maxwell. 5 minutes for rebuttals.
There are three.
Five.
No. You have to.
Wait. I'm giving you 5 minutes.
Because I need to respond to each of them, whatever they say. So
Maxwell, let me explain. Okay. Let me explain. 5 minutes for rebuttals. Then I'll ask a question in relation to this again. And then because you say you have rebuttals, that's what.
No, all of us have rebuttals.
So let me. Yes.
No.
So 5 minutes.
First, let me state emphatically that this gold purchase arrangement or agreement is a novelty that was introduced by NPP.
It's never true.
Wait,
we were buying gold before NPP.
Please. That one was not even a locally bought gold. Please, let's not. I don't want to waste my 5 minutes to educate you on that. So let's not go there. I beg you. I'm saying on authority again that this gold purchase arrangement is a novelty by the NPP. I've heard almost all communicators that are defending NDC and Gold Board say that during our days, gold was being smuggled outside the shores of this country. NDC, how many years have you been in government? Since 1992, or let me say 7 January 1993. How much of our gold were you able to secure for us? All were smuggled outside the country. So let nobody make this argument. Let nobody create the impression that under us, gold was being smuggled and you have come to save the situation. Because under you, Prof. Mills' days, JDM1, President Rawlings, President Kufuor, all our gold was smuggled out of the country. It took the ingenuity of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to save the situation. I've heard you again making claims that inflation was high. Yes, it was because of those difficulties that this policy was fashioned to save the situation. You remember 2022, inflation was 54.1. When we introduced the policy, we managed to buy 3.47 tons of gold. 2023, we purchased 37 tons of gold, which helped brought inflation from 54% to 38% in 2023. Again, in 2024, we purchased 56.47 tons of gold, which dropped inflation from 38% to 23%. So NDC should have it at the back of their mind that it isn't their making. It isn't because NDC came in, Gold Board was set up, and all of a sudden inflation has dropped from 23%
to 4% or 5% that we see today. The point is, inflation was already on the decline, thanks to a policy that was instituted or brought in by the NPP. We have to establish this fact. This is an incontrovertible fact that I don't expect anybody to contest. Again, the issue that you raised again, that why should we be worried about questioning how we are questioning Gold Board? I ask myself, is this honesty? Let me tell you, this is hypocrisy. Let me put it that way bluntly. In the sense that NDC criticized the losses that the NPP made during the gold purchase arrangement. Who asked you, who questioned you about the criticism that you gave to NPP? Nobody did that. It even found expression in your manifesto. You said we were shortchanging the country, so we were going to investigate. Meanwhile, percentage-wise, the losses that were incurred at the MPP comes nowhere close what has been happening under NDC. Under us, the percentage was around 10%. Now, you have increased it, the very losses that you were criticizing has been increased from 10% to 17%, and the three of you, pardon me for my words, you shamelessly want to defend this. Shamelessly, you want to defend this canker. Huh? Why should we? Because the very things that if you are strong with your principles, you will not settle for less. If you are strong with your principles, you will not defend what is happening. Because yesterday, you questioned the very thing that has exacerbated, that has worsened as we speak. And you want us to keep quiet and not say anything about it. Again, I'm saying again on authority that the 10 billion that Bank of Ghana managed to accrue out of the sale of gold is not profit. The impression is being created out there. It's just exchanging our cedi for gold. You have gold. I have 1 million Ghana cedis. I give you my 1 million Ghana cedis and take your gold. Have I made profit?
But is it that simple?
Wait,
right?
It
doesn't come off as that simple, right?
Listen to my analogy. I'm not talking about the losses yet. I mean the mindset that has been created that Gold Board has given us 10 billion worth of gold. That is not true. In fact, under us, we bought 4 billion out of the 10 billion worth of gold that we exported through PMMC. 4 billion of them was purchased by Bank of Ghana. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that is revenue. Revenue is not profit. So when they are making their argument, they should be mindful of this fact. Right. Revenue is not profit.
Nobody has said that.
No, in the argument, that was what you meant. Please, let me go on. Again.
You've done more than 5 minutes, though.
Thank you. I do appreciate it. Again, they are giving reasons. Oh, we have made losses of 1.7 billion, but the benefit that we have gotten as a result of stability in our imports and so on and so forth. Let me ask them one question. The 21 billion that we used to support the banking cleanup, please, what was it for? What was its intention? What was its purpose? The beneficiaries of that 21 billion, didn't this save a lot of businesses? Didn't it save a lot of depositors' monies? Yet, you guys criticized it and created the impression that we have stolen or shortchanged the country.
Is that the position? Because the banking sector cleanup, the remnants are still lingering on. There are people who are still looking for their money who have not gotten it.
Not all. They even made a promise that including...
it's because you brought it. I'm not making an argument as to. I'm just saying that there are remnants from there as to job losses.
Majority of them have job losses as compared to if depositors had lost their money.
Let's not go into banking sector cleanup, because banking sector cleanup, the argument is varied and wide. That it shouldn't have even cost us 20-something billion.
That is your opinion.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. That it's not my opinion. I'm saying that
depositors' monies were saved. Are you saying it shouldn't have cost us that much?
No, there's a school of thought that it would have cost us less to have done that. But we are talking gold board, so let's not go there. You've done 7 minutes. We are doing
the same school of thought that you are saying. According to them, we should have used the money to invest in the banks and save the situation. But let's find out from them. During JDM1 in 2011, how much money was given to Capital Bank? How much? And it still went down the drain. Anyway, so coming back to gold board, like I'm saying, the last point before I end, my brother said that we bequeath to them a junk economy. Jesus Christ. A junk economy with GDP growth of 5.7%. A junk economy that fuel was cheaper than it is today. A junk economy that had electricity, water cheaper than it is today. A junk economy that bequeathed to you, the last point, the junk economy that bequeathed to you 9.1 billion worth of forex reserve. How do you christen or label that economy as junk? We bequeath to them a strong economy as compared to what they bequeathed to us in 2016. Then this will be the best of economies under.
8:30. Let me go to Ebo because you have a right of response. So Ebo, come in for me, and then I'll moderate the time from you.
It's obvious that now they are running away from their own words. Yesterday's press conference was a blatant attack on Sami Jemfi and Gold Board. But from what Honorable just said, it's so obvious they are running away from their own words because it doesn't make sense. That the kind of argument they made yesterday did not make sense at all. In fact, I was so ashamed because of the relationship I have with Appiah Markin. I was so ashamed yesterday, and I understand him because he sees the whole thing as a game. No, recently he had an interview and he said NDC is taking this game too far. So in his view, it's a game, So he doesn't say anything wrong with, corruption. He thinks everything is a game. The whole thing is a game. It is not, see, I told you, it is not just, we don't trade, you see, Mawuena, we don't trade in gold for what is the end game. What do you stand to gain as a nation? And the MPP, we had this gold for reserve and gold for oil. But it wasn't so. In fact, the economy was so bad that Dr. Bawumia himself ran away from the economy. The economy was so bad that Dr. Bawumia didn't want to be associated with the economy. And it wasn't NDC or Ghanaians that said the economy was in junk status. It was the international rating agencies. Why were you locked out of capital markets? If your economy was so good, why were you locked out? Why were people not prepared to give you money? Because the economy was so bad. That's why I'm saying that given what Gold Board has brought to the table in terms of its contribution to the stability of Ghana's economy, there's no way MPP will be happy about it. Hence, this attack, let me tell you this, and I said it the last time, not here. You see, thieves have started coming up with strategies. Now, if you see thief and you shout thief, thief, the thief also shout thief. Also shout at someone as thief. So that people will be confused as to who is the real thief. Yesterday, this loss that is recorded openly in books, Appiah Markin says it amounts to corruption. Can you imagine that?
What didn't you say yesterday?
And listen to this, though. What is recorded openly, blatantly in books, that this is a loss we incurred as a result of our economic activities, which has given us profound benefits in terms of economic stability. Appiah likened that one to the kind of corruption that went on under MPP. Can you imagine? So it's like thief calling somebody thief to confuse Ghanaians. We know who are the real thieves in this country. We know those who are facing the law court. We know those who don't want their cases to be continued. We know all of them. We know the thieves, the real thieves in this country. that they looted this country so that their own member, a senior member of their own party, said MPP were looting Ghana as if there were no tomorrow. And so, we know the reality. So Afonyomaki cannot stand on this to get the impression that, yes, we are all thieves. In fact, we know the thieves. This is not thievery. What they did was not in open books. What they did, what this MPP did to Ghana's economy, the looting that went on were hidden looting. It took us a long time to be able to discover those looting. So they should not compare the two. This Sami Jemfi is a target, and understandably so.
Why should we make him a target?
Well, that's what you've done. You've made him a target. Because why do you impose on Gold Board a loss that belongs to Bank of Ghana?
It doesn't matter if it's Gold Board.
It matters, because yesterday press conference was not focused on Bank of Ghana.
Let me tell you, if even it's Gold Board.
Oh, you are running away. Now you are running away. You may chase you. We're going to pay, but you can't undo. Now, you are running away. You are running away from your work. We'll chase you with that. You see, the whole thing yesterday, why do you think Gold Board is responding today? Because the impression is being created out there that Gold Board has incurred a loss and it amounts to corruption. To the extent that when they come, Sami Jemfi will be arrested. And look at the impression, the picture they are trying to paint in the minds of Ghanaians. Are you getting the point? So let's put the things where they are. You are not running away from it. We'll keep you there, because if you compare looting that went on in this country, but I've said the losses would have to be recorded in Bank of Ghana's books, which has been done. So why do you accuse Gold Board? Why do you want to superimpose that loss in the books or on the books of Gold Board?
You are happy there are losses, right?
Of course, if you are trading, but you said, but you yourself, you said the way, you said the way the scheme is structured, you certainly incur losses. And it's under
to this tune.
To what tune?
17% losses.
But no. Do you know the opportunity cost?
Opportunity?
Have you considered the opportunity cost?
The very thing that you criticize. The very thing that you criticize.
It's my time. If Gold Board had not done what it did to gather the gold for Bank of Ghana for us to have the kind of stability we have, do you know how this economy?
So what is he talking about?
Do you know how this economy would have suffered? Don't you know what happened? Okay. Do you know? Can you quantify the cost of haircut? People died because of the haircut.
Because of the haircut,
we have prevented the haircut this time. You don't want to go back to the haircut. So if a government has put in place a mechanism that is stabilizing our economy, that is helping us not to go back to the IMF, and you are not happy with it, no, you have some.
It's because
the familiar spirit has taken over MPP. They don't want any better thing for this country. And let's call them out. How can you do this to this country? After you destroyed Ghana's economy, you went to the IMF, your own candidate ran away from the economy. Somebody's cleaning your mess. You don't want to give the person a peace of mind to do it, so that all of us will suffer again. We should call them out. Right. That they are running away from their own words. That it doesn't matter in whose book they stand.
Doc, let me come to Doc.
Let me just say clearly. Let me just put it clearly that it is not the NDC that said we were a junk status. Those comments, it's a fact that was put together by international rating agencies. That was not our but the facts were there. Okay, the facts were dead. The facts were dead.
They said 2024.
Okay, the CD was weak.
No, I'm asking you. 2024.
The CD was weak.
I don't want them to be
inflation was high, and so it was. And so it was. It was.
Junk status.
I have got a few points to respond to. You don't ask the questions here. You don't get to ask the questions here. You don't get to ask the questions here. So it was not. It was not as you said it. These were international agencies. Okay. Now listen. You may say that the GDPP was not a novelty, okay? It was, but you cannot say that Dr. Baumia's DGPP or the GPP domestic gold purchase was not the same as Sami Jemfi and President Mahama's gold board. The two are completely different. If for nothing, PMMC had 100.
What's different?
What is different? Because Gold Board has a mandate for traceability and for sustainability. They didn't have that. Okay, they did not. Okay, they did not. On top of that, PMC had 110 employees. Gold Board had 450 employees. Now, their cost with the 110 employees was 129 million cedis. Gold Board cut it down to 109. 20 million savings, okay, and gave employment to young people in this country to the tune of about 300 employees, okay. So look, it is also the case that if you read a report by the University of Ghana by Professor Professor Ebo says that for every $1 the Bank of Ghana gave Gold Board turned $18. In percentage terms, that is mind-boggling, okay. That's an 18-fold in terms of, so yes, you like I said cedis. No, we're talking about.
You said dollars, so
yes.
The correction is actually right.
Both said yes. That's what. So he prefers the IMF's interpretations than to University of Ghana indigenous professors. Okay, so that is that bit there. Okay, look, they may have brought it down to 23%, but that was because of the gold purchase. But it was the inflation was still coming through the CD. That is why the inflation was high. We have stabilized the CD. As we speak today, it is about 11 CDs. That is why inflation has come down to single digits. All right. Look, but let me put it this way: Sami Gyamfi will not be deterred by the opposition. A man who is backed by law, a man who is backed by a surplus. I didn't say that. A man who is backed by, you will not interfere with my train of thought. A man who is backed by law. A public servant who is backed by law, a public servant who is backed by surplus of 4.5 billion cedis has no reason to be afraid of anybody. All right, President Mahama, he has the full confidence of President Mahama, and he has the full confidence of millions of Ghanaians because he has helped us to stabilize our economy. Look, we would prefer this. All right, our gold should begin to back our CD. Our gold should not be backing foreign banks abroad. And that is what Gold Board has done to ensure that our gold stays with us and not the Dubai cartels. What did the Papa say, Archbishop Duncan Williams? Did you hear him recently? He didn't say that under your watch. He said this under the...
Because he's MDC.
Okay, fine. He said that. I'm sure he's listening to you.
I'm not sure.
I'm not going to make it.
You can't. I'm saying no. You see, when relax. I just want him to look.
Okay,
when Ebo, before you even attempt an explanation, when Ebo was speaking and there was a casual allusion as to Codjoe Nkrumah.
But that was an insult.
No, wait.
This is no insult.
This
is no insult.
No,
I'm
it wasn't
saying that it belongs to a particular
Let me
group.
make the point. In fairness, that was not an insult. I'm saying that you can't make allegations against the person when he's not here to respond. No, I'm saying you can't. I'm not wanting you to explain. I'm saying that you can't make an allegation against a person that he belongs to them when he's not here to respond.
Is it dirty to be part of NDC?
No, it's not about dirty. It's not. Nobody is making a suggestion that is dirty, right? Nobody's making the claim that is
soft spots for NDC.
Period.
Right. So proceed.
So look, he said quite clearly recently about the cartel, foreign cartels that were determined to make sure the Gold Board died.
The pastor's issue.
Yes, that's what to ensure that Gold Board died an infant death. Look, what the MPP are doing, so that's an external cartel. The internal cartel is Afenyo Makin and his people who want to kill.
You can't also say
okay.
You can't also say Afenyo Makin is I'll come to you.
I didn't say he said it. No, I'm saying this. No, I'm saying this. Okay, I'm not talking about the Papa. So look,
Max, you're being very disruptive.
Cartel.
As much as I allow the disruption,
this is an internal cartel led by the MPP looking to kill Gold Board. But listen, Gold Board will not be deterred. Our dollars, our gold will stay here. We'll use it to back our CD. We'll aggregate it. We've got about $13.8 billion of it in reserves. 5 months of reserves, okay? And we'll 13.8. And we'll use it. Check it. Don't you even dare to go down that route. Don't even dare. What is it? What is it? Tell me what is it. No, it's not. Fact check it. Fact check it. It's 13.7 plus. Check it.
Can somebody fact check that for me before we move?
Okay.
They'll fact check it, and when they come back, they'll tell us it's 13.7 or 0.8 billion. No, it's not. You are lying. It is not. Okay. So look, we will use it to back our reserves. All right, and we'll keep it here as our sovereignty. All right. Gold. The gold for Ghanaians is for Ghanaians. It's not for foreigners. Thank you.
Mark.
Mawuena, all I want to see and feel is that whatever natural resources we have, it needs to the benefit of the Ghanaian people. I think the NDC took all Ghanaians by surprise when we were going into the 2024 elections. They never told us they were going to institute anything like Gold Board.
It's in their manifesto.
It wasn't even in
2020.
Even in 2020. Then I think we
That's a lie.
And when they lost, that people should have done that. It's not true. They were not smart.
I think that Ghanaians didn't take that
in their 2020
including the opposition parties.
We
did not take that serious, and we didn't know the magnitude and the benefit Gold Board was going to bring. Now, whatever that young boy Sami Jemfi is doing, young man Sami Jemfi is doing, okay, have scattered the minds of many people because we didn't expect this. Yes, we didn't expect this.
It was an uppercut.
What we are looking for? But is it true? Is it true that our city is strong as a result of the support of Gold Board? No. Is it true that our inflationary level, okay, and where it is now, is also as a result of the support of the Gold Board?
Gold purchase arrangement. No Gold Board.
Yes, so the gold purchase arrangement, which has not been inherited by the NDC, Gold Board, Sami Jemfi. Is it true?
Yes, I agree with you.
Yes.
See, you are now talking.
So
you put it this way. When you see two
okay, let me end.
Once you agree, let him
under the domestic gold purchasing program.
Yes. Which was
so this was so MPP. I'm coming. So yes. So MPP also did the same. All right.
But they didn't
so that our inflation will go down.
Which has been pushed.
You took inflation to about 50-something%, brought it down to 40%. And today, so is it under this same program that you left inflation at 14 point whatever? Is it under this same inflation that you left the dollar at 17 point whatever? Is it the same? Is it the same program? No, I want to know. Is it the same program?
Is it that? Hey, wait.
Is it the same program?
Please. Is it that? Wait. Is it that you are being dishonest or you don't read?
Maxwell, let me talk. You see. If Maxwell, let me make this point. Maxwell.
Never in the history of this country.
When you Maxwell, relax. When politicians, when you speak, you use figures as and when it pleases you. I'm not defending anybody.
Not
right?
when I'm here.
I'm saying that for the exchange rate, when anybody references 17 cities, and because it's the first time, and so you see, let me make the point. When I make the point, you understand. I'm saying that on this platform, right, on the Forex Bureau market, it reached 17. Relax. I'm saying that. As politicians, you pick and choose when you are using BOG rate and when you are using Forex rate. So if you stick to BOG rate, that's why I'm saying that. That's why I don't interject on a point like this, because the politician will choose which one he wants to use. You understand? So Mark,
let me conclude.
For BOG rate, you never reach 17. That's a statement of facts, and that's why I'm saying that. On this tangentials, it will always do this. Mark, proceed for me.
Let me say this. Let me say this. Uncle Ebo, you know what? Last weekend, I had to change $1,000. All right. And I was paying somewhere around almost 12. Okay. That is the Abochi rate. Last 2 days, I was at Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping to pay for their facility. We are holding the program. I think I'll make that out today. And I think the amount, to my own tabulations, when I use the 12 cedis to the rate, I'm coming, I arrived at 32,000, right? Then, when I went to the school to make the payment, in fact, I carried the 32,000. When I got there, they did their exchange rate Fortunately for me, they use the Bank of Ghana rate, and I paid less than 20-something thousand.
That's the
effect of exchange rate. And is it the contribution of the Gold Patrice program under the Gold Board? Is that what you are saying? The Gold Board is doing well. Why then are we trying to hang Gold Board?
The whole economy. Why? No. So do you know what our debt?
Did you also incur losses?
No. Do you know what?
And what is the benefit Ghanaians are?
Hypocrisy.
What is the benefit Ghanaians are? What is then the benefit to Ghanaians?
That is the more reason why we introduced.
You incurred a lower cost at a 14 point something inflationary rate, with about 17 Ghana cedis, which you don't want to agree to $1. And this same program, someone is managing this same program. At 3 point something.
We talk to them all the time.
It's okay. Give me the rest.
We
have another topic. So
the greatest nightmare is Gold Board and Sami Jenfi.
Mawuena, let's allow Sami Jenfi to do his work. Sami Jenfi is today, meeting the President Accountability Series to give us his version. I don't want to believe that it is because of what Afanya Markins did. That is why Sami Jenfi is coming.
No. Because of that.
You know the point.
Well, it's time. So for me, let us give Sami Jenfi and Gold Board the opportunity and the support to help us.
But it's not more than 10 minutes.
Oh no, it's even 5 minutes with all 5 minutes with all the interjections. It's now 6. It's now even 6 minutes. As for the time, I'm checking it. I have a stopwatch.
I mean,
it's 6 minutes.
The press conference yesterday by the minority was needless. I mean, their objective was misplaced,
and I'm surprised they don't know how Afanya is thinking the party.
That shouldn't be your worry.
He's sinking the party speedily.
Let's make progress.
No. We're excited, but we have to say it.
That should be
13 to the top of the hour. You're still with us here on the 3FM Sunrise. We're going to switch lanes and we'll talk about hostel fees, right? That's a second topic. We've spent a great chunk, more than an hour plus on Goldberg, and I think everybody has had enough to say in relation to it. I mean, Fred, just quickly on a few sounds in relation to the hostel, then I'll come and pick quick thoughts as to, because it's an area which demands a bit more concern, the fees and how much is being charged. So here's a acting rent control commissioner going around the Sunyani Technical University, and some of the facilities being handed out to students as hostels and how much they are paying. Just
You are a property owner, you are a hostel operator. Your time has come. This hotel is closed down. Call me the people. They should come and make the extra of the money. However, they should come and get So you take money 2,000 cedis from a student and you go this rubbish and go hotel. Look, where is the light? There's no light. Everybody should see there's no light here. And so let the lady come. You did this yeah, it's what? Who are here? So where the man come? Wait. Wait. Yeah, the man back say we check 2,000. Wait. Say we check 2,000. Is it fair? Come and see this. Go. Who be best car? Wait, hey, baby, I say the father. Wait, I was in the part that's the end of down window. No fan, no window. Look, how many minutes? I'm sweating like a pig. So you need boy here. When you're down, you're so big. Can you go for it? Put this canal, fire down. Like how much? 2,000. So, woman back at channel. Said the hostel will know. Student, Muti. Yes, sir. Tomorrow, yes, sir. Go to rent control. Sure. And go and take the assessment form. Okay. Are you okay? Sure. They will assess them. And any amount, if it's more than what they have taken per this, you go for refund. Sure. And leave here. Thank you. I'm saying that tomorrow, you go.
Let's do 2 minutes because of time. I'll start with you. 2 minutes on this in relation to the rent. We can keep the video. Look at the washroom. They are charging us 3,000, 4,000 or something, and the washroom is shared by both males and females actually. So it's a whole lot. About 2 minutes. Let's keep the video on. Right.
I think this is very inhumane. I mean, if you look at the way our future leaders are being treated, that's quite unfortunate. I think as a nation, we should begin to look at public hostels. We should begin to look at the issue of public hostels. The state itself must consider putting up hostels, decent ones for our students. Because you see, education is an investment. If we think it is only the parent who is supposed to take care of or their children to go to school, then we are making a mistake. Because whatever the person will become after school, the effect will be on the state. If the person is trained properly, the person acquired good skills, the person gets good experiences and all that, it will inure to the benefit of the state. Therefore, the state must show interest. Instead of putting money in digging holes, this burden, can you imagine if those burdens that were brought down had been converted to hostels? Our students would have gotten a decent place to live. But we chose to demolish those burdens and dig a hole.
Like the market.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense one bit. So we should know where to invest our money, and we should invest our money in our future leaders. Where they sleep affects their learning, and this is important. As a nation, we pay special attention to. Some of us were fortunate when I went to Legon. I mean, I had a room to myself. At a point, I needed to bring a friend when I became hall treasurer. So it's unfortunate to see others who have to go through this. The situation is deteriorating with time, because we were also told when we went to the university that those who went ahead of us were having one person into a room. They will even determine what to eat. Sometimes at a point they went on strike because they were eating chicken too much. Yeah. So the situation is deteriorating. Right. I think the state must intervene with public hostels. Public hostels.
We'll try and have a conversation in relation to whether public hostel is the way to go, because I would disagree. The state cannot go. The state cannot do everything. But Doc, let me bring you.
Yeah, but even in partnership with the private
2 minutes.
sector. Yeah.
Sure, that's fair. Doc, 2 minutes.
I suppose what we are seeing on our screens is just disgusting. Nobody's child should be in that situation. I'm wondering how you can stay in here and be able to study. All right. There's exploitation clearly ongoing here, but what is also ongoing is decisive action by rent control. And so what we have seen in the past was that most of the time these guys got away with it, but it is becoming the case in recent times that rent control is cracking down hard on them. We will encourage rent control to begin to do that. But look, they should not shy away from actually closing down hostels if they have to, because these are just completely, it's a beggar's belief that students can actually stay in here. The second thing is that Ebo talked about public partnership. I'll probably look for private partnership, right, where you can, build it, service it, and after a while you transfer it to the state. That should probably help us. We in the NDC are quite aware of accessibility, which is why we have the no free stress policy. But yet, we do know that accommodation is a real problem, and I think going forward, government will take action to make sure that our students and our future leaders don't get sick for going to school, but that school should be a place where they can enjoy university and be able to thrive as our future leaders. So yes, it's a problem, it's an eyesore, but going forward, I'm sure that the government will take action. The Ministry of Education and other allied agencies will take the appropriate action. Our students deserve better. Right. We'll make sure it happens.
Right. Doc, thank you. Max, let me come to you and then Ebo will have the last word.
I will not.
Mark will have the last word. I wanted to say Mark and I said Ebo.
It's so expensive to have your ward in the university. The focus is not even on the fees or the books, but the accommodation is so expensive. Like, he tried to play politics with it. I thought this is something that affects us all. That we will not play politics. As we speak, my ward is in KNUST. and I'm supposed to cough out 8,500 for her hostel fee. 8,500 for her hostel
no fee stress.
There's post-stress fee. So that if you didn't fail.
You see, don't be distracted. Don't be distracted. Speak to.
You know why? Because they failed on that policy.
I said don't be distracted. We are talking about hostel fees.
Again, you see, you are saying government should intervene. Meanwhile, in your own manifesto, page 94, point number 5.1.5.2, you promised there that you were going to invest in building student hostels and facilitate the expansion of accommodation facilities. And in fact, they termed it as Bed for All program. You remember? The Bed for All program by JDM. How many months into your government? 1 year. Wait. 1 year, 8 months. So we should wait till the last 3 months before you construct the hostels for us. All right? You see, they made promises. They failed on almost every promise they made. Almost every promise they made.
Hostel.
You want me to go, including the good domestic?
I'm having us talk about hostels.
So that's why I will not go into the failed promises. But with hostels, the promise that they made to the youth of this country, that they were going to provide something they call Bed for All students by investing in our hostels. I'm asking. They didn't even find expression in our budget, number one. Number two, let's find out from them. How many of them, you are constructing markets everywhere. Why not commit some of the resources into expanding the hostels that we currently...
Thank you. Mark,
the key challenges with our hostel issues has to do with overcrowding, poor infrastructure, just as we've seen, lack of regulation. And what I am much more interested has to do with the effect on human security. Human security. There are no proper security that is available for these young people. And in fact, sometimes when they're in the room and there's an outbreak of fire, I ask myself, where would they pass? All exit routes have been blocked.
Some of those facilities
converted into rooms. And these are all serious issues that I think we should be very, very much concerned about. But you see, one thing has to do with the root causes. Is one, housing deficit, weak enforcement, and the profit motive of these hostel owners. It is demand.
Demand is high.
So definitely they have to move.
There is the demand and supply.
So
that motivates them.
That's why I have to ask the government. The promise that they made to us, what has happened to it?
Why? But you wasn't in power. You were in government for the past 8 years.
You had 8 years.
You were in government for the past 8 years.
I agree. That's why they kicked.
So let's not politicize.
That's why they kicked the.
So let's not politicize.
So they made the.
I mean, when we want to politicize this, we will not go anywhere.
We'll build the hostels.
The issue is that.
Are you saying we shouldn't?
Let's make sure that we make education and where students will sleep a sacred place, all right, so that they can have the free mind and the opportunity, the ability to be able to learn, and
that's about me. I promise the people of Cape Coast. I'm from Cape Coast. That they were building airport and harbour. Building and harbour. We need civil airport and harbour. I'm from Cape Coast. We are waiting for you. We are waiting for you.
Let's not politicize.
We still have time. We still have time.
Yeah, let's not politicize it. So please, I mean, government should come in as soon as possible. If there is any, private partnership that we want to do. There are a lot of lands here on Lagos. There are a lot of lands there. Why aren't we, taking advantage of it and bring in some private partners to come and build, run it for some years, and then hand it over to the school.
Fair enough. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us in studio this morning as well. Dr. Stephen Panti Isaka is a member of the NDC Communications team. Ebo Bachman is Deputy Director of Communications